Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Cubby.
Good morning.
Look at you. You're looking good, pal. I wish I could say the same for the rest of us. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. It's Tuesday. It's early. Jungle Jane, Janel Klein, I believe, has committed herself to an in-studio visit this morning. I was told, whatever you do, don't give her alcohol.
She is from Faribault.
That's the message I got from her probation officer. We'll find out what's happening with Jungle Jane.
We can't even, slip her some when no one's looking because of that ankle monitor. It can tell if she's been drinking or not.
Yep, the bad girl returns today to the Half-Assed Morning Show. We'll find out what's going on. Did I tell you, Josh, that I went to the old folks' home over the weekend to see my mother?
Yeah. Was it Sunday that you were up there?
Sunday.
Did you spend the night Saturday or just go up Sunday for a quick
Up and back ski. Up and back on Sunday. Went to the old folk. You know, obviously there are some unfortunate circumstances that lead an old-timer to the rest home, and my mother's story is no different. But I got to say, from my perspective, not a bad place to be. It's not.
Yeah, my grandma, both my grandmas lived in separate rest homes, and I always enjoyed being there. Everybody's playing checkers or cribbage or eating something in the lunchroom or whatever. It was kind of like school in a way.
Did they not like each other that you had to put them in separate rest homes?
Didn't even know each other.
They didn't know each other?
Nope.
I've never been to one.
I don't know if they ever met. Outside of, I'm sure they went to my parents' wedding, but we never had a big get-together with both sides.
Not a bad place to be. I think my mom is embracing it more than we thought she would.
She's probably being real social. Your mom's a social person. I bet she's already got a lot of friends there.
She can run her yap. Yeah. She seems to be doing all right making friends. I know we got plenty of listeners who help older folks for a living at retirement homes, assisted living, hospice, that kind of thing. Let me tell you, thank you for what you do. I've seen it firsthand. You're good people. You work hard. You make a lot of lives easier. Now, my mother isn't the first member of our family to go into the home, of course. I've told you before, my grandma almost got booted out because she had a dispute in the dining room with another old lady at the rest home, and my grandma hit the other old gal with a pop-up power bomb out of nowhere.
That's awesome.
My dad, her son, had to go talk to the warden about her behavior.
I told you before that my wife's grandma had to be locked in at night because she'd kind of go around and...
Sex.
Yeah, she'd have some lovemaking with different gentlemen.
Jesus.
The joint my mother is in, God forbid that's going on over there.
Oh, it's going on.
Good food, nice place, good people helping her. If she needs help. If she needs help. Not always, but sometimes. She's stubborn like all the rest of them. But yeah, I made a little trip to the old folks' home. I wanted to make sure I passed that message on to folks who make a living in that fashion. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I bet that's a difficult job at times.
Oh, very difficult.
Stoned to the bone, she just said at her great-grandma's old folks' home, they play Wii bowling.
I was just going to say that same thing at my grandparents' place back when they were still kicking. They had a Nintendo Wii set up in one of the activity rooms.
That's awesome.
Oh, it looked like a lot of fun. I loved going there. I'm same with you, Nick. I was like, this looks fun.
And the food looked pretty good. I didn't eat any of it. I didn't see a video game system. I bet at your grandparents' home, despite regularly playing Wii, I would imagine they had to have a young person show them how to turn it on every single time.
Oh, and I'm glad that wasn't my job. There's nothing more difficult than explaining technology to folks that don't understand how it works.
I'll tell you what, I had to go set up a TiVo back in the day for a friend's great aunt.
Oh, man.
That was an all-day affair. Trying to get that thing going.
A TiVo, too.
Oh, boy. Yeah, sometimes with old people with technology, my mom's this way, there is zero patience.
Mm-hmm.
None whatsoever. They just can't wait a second to try and figure it out. Any little problem, it's a major problem.
What were you saying a minute ago, Dana? What's one of the more frustrating things you've ever encountered?
Just explaining technology, trying to work your way through, setting up a phone for, your parents or grandparents or
someone who doesn't understand it.
Or just doesn't understand it at all.
Oh, I was going to haul you aside after the show is over for a little bit of help, but not anymore.
I'll help you out.
Thanks, Ashley.
I think it's cute when my mom asks me for help when she's doing anything on her phone. I enjoy that.
I can count on Ashley. Speaking of our elders, here are apparently the top 16 best old man phrases, according to the folks at Barstool Sports. These are fun. It reminds me of some of the older cats that I socialize with or used to socialize with before they passed. And maybe some of us use these terms too. And it kind of reminds me, when I say them out loud, Josh, it kind of reminds me of old television programming from the 70s and whatnot. Old man phrases.
I have a feeling my dad, or a lot of things on this list.
All right, let me know.
Oh, yeah, my dad and uncles, I'm sure.
Let me know. Here's number one. Newsflash, buddy. I got a newsflash for you, son.
Yep.
Number two. Maybe, I believe this is related to paying the bill at a restaurant. I use this one. Can you guess what it is? Anyone? Paying the bill at the restaurant. What might an older cat say to the waiter or waitress?
What's the damage?
What's the damage? And then what if the number, the price, is a little higher than they expected? What do they say then? I got one guy. I got one buddy of mine who's a little older, uses it every time. He gets the tab. It's a little higher than he expected, or even if it isn't higher than he expected, he just loves this line. He'll say, "What, did I break a window?"
Oh, my gosh, yes.
All right, old man phrases part 3. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
I like the Megadeth cover of that song. That's excellent.
I do not.
You don't? Nah, you're crazy. You've lost your mind.
I never liked that one. This one's had a resurgence. Let me sneak past you.
Oh, let me sneak right past you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that quite often. And I try to stop so much because I know it's like a typical Minnesotan thing to say. But it just comes out of my mouth every single time.
You were born with it wired into your... some of these are very predictable as far as old man phrases go. It's not the heat, it's humidity. It's the humidity, sorry. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. Ready to rock and roll?
Oh, and you're ready to leave?
Yeah.
I use that one.
My dad says that so much.
I use that one for sure.
Kind of slap the thighs a little bit as you're saying it.
I leave the rock and out of that sentence. Ready to roll.
Oh, yeah, I say that too.
Rolling. That was a big thing with my old man. We were always rolling. We're rolling, boys. Let's get rolling. So I don't really, I don't include the rock and. All right, Josh, you ready? You and what army? Oh, yeah? You and what army?
Yeah, a lot of these are like movies and TV I remember from.
Oh, yeah. You come in. You've been out all night. You look like hell. What does the older person say to you?
Look what the cat drug in. Or
Look what the cat dragged in. I hate to burst your bubble. This is related to, this next old man phrase is related to, say, a snack food that they can't get enough of. They open up the bag of chips and they say, these are dangerous.
Oh, my mom and dad say that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So much. And then at the end, get these away from me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, in 50 or 60 years, it's going to be ridiculous, this old man phrases list. skibbity and things like that. It's going to be completely insane.
Gross.
The Riz Master, the Rizzler. What's the latest one they keep saying is, was it on my mama, on your mama? It's out of control.
What are we doing? Where do we go with that? On my mama?
Yeah, it's on my mama. Everything's on my mama.
Oh, that's on my mama.
Yeah. It's not even in this way that makes sense.
No, I'm sure it isn't, yeah. It probably has nothing to do with maybe your mother covering the cost of something.
No, has nothing to do with I'm swearing on my mom. This is the truth. It's not, at least the way that I hear it used.
Oh, really?
It's for everything.
What the heck does it mean then?
Nobody knows, Ashley.
Old man phrase number 11, cool your jets.
Oh, I used to get that a lot when I was a kid.
Working hard or hardly working?
I remember the first time I heard that. I was working at a grocery store, and one of the managers came up to a bunch of us and said that. I thought it was pure genius.
Like he just came up with it on the fly?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought he came up with that.
You like that one?
Oh, yeah. And then I remember the first time I ever heard someone say, sorry, I blew up when they didn't blow up. And that was also at that grocery store. Same guy. And I thought he was just a comedic genius, not realizing that these were phrases that already existed. Even so, he pulled them off perfectly.
My friend group and I are all big on apologizing for blowing up. I remember, okay, of course, working hard or hardly working. What about this one? Are you working or jerking?
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, me either.
Don't mind if I do. He's another one of these old man phrases.
Benjamin said, damn, I'm 29 and I say all of these.
You must hang out with some good people, some older fellers.
Josh, another one I remember when was first said to me, I thought it was brilliant and that the old guy came up with on the spot when he told me, I'm not a smart fella, but you sure are a fart smeller. And I thought that was brilliant.
That one turns my stomach a little
That's
bit.
pretty gross.
You're a fart smeller. When an old guy's driving and someone in front of him doesn't use their turn signal, they say, nice blinker, pal.
I use that
See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
And the final on this list of the 16 best old man phrases. And this was 100% my old man. And there's more layers to it, even. Answering the phone by saying, yellow.
I use that.
I'm a yellow guy. I got
used
it
to
from
be.
my... But what was so interesting about my dad using it was he drove truck for yellow freight. And at times, when the phone would ring, when the trucking company was calling my dad to work, they called the home phone. Sometimes my dad and I would answer the phone at the same time. And it was so interesting to me that my dad would say, yeah, yellow. And they'd say, yeah, John, this is yellow. And he'd say, yeah, yellow.
I stopped
Back
that
and
with
forth.
when it became, when everything had caller ID. Then I didn't say, I stopped the yellow because I already know who it is.
You no longer...
Yeah, I'm aware who this is. It's not a mystery.
You've dumped an official telephone greeting altogether, and you just say, hey, Donnie or Ronnie or whoever's on the line.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never done that. It's always either yellow or hello.
Even when you know who it is?
Yeah, every time.
But when we
Like,
were...
I'll answer the phone and go, hey, Ashley.
That's
that kind of
true.
thing.
You totally do. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, you do. I guess I still say yellow. Josh, better pack a lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Another old man phrase. But when we were kids,
That's a good
Josh,
one.
we both had a similar experience. When we were kids, how did we answer the phone and why did we answer it?
Oh, we'd say your last name.
No.
Yeah, we'd say hello and then the last name.
Well, no, something you and I had in common. Hello and the last name.
Yeah. Like if your last name was Johnson. Hello, Johnson's.
Sure. No, you guys did that?
Yeah.
Oh, we never did that. I'm talking about you and I had a shared experience when we were kids. We both had a gimmicky way to answer the phone.
Oh, shallow.
Shallow. And we got that from who?
Yeah, from Good Times.
JJ from Good Times. First time I saw him on Good Times answer the phone and say, cello. I thought it was the coolest thing in the friggin' world. So if you called my phone in 1979 when I was 8 years old, I would say, cello.
That's adorable.
Here's a couple other old man phrases I thought should have made this list. Pert near. at least on my dad's side of the family, the older folks, are you guys familiar with that one?
Yes.
No.
They would say something, boy, it sure is.
Like I'm pert near 50 right now.
Right. Boy, it sure is hot outside. Yeah, pert near 90. Pert near.
Never heard that word before.
Oh, this is a good one from Gutter Slut Jesus. His favorite line, his mom always told him that he's not the dumbest guy in the world, but he better hope that he doesn't die.
Another route my dad would always take, and fellas from his generation, a guy. They would always say things like, now, why would a guy do that? Or, let's say we're talking about technology. Hey, I got you a Nintendo Wii. My dad would say, well, how does a guy put that together? A guy. They were always referencing this guy.
I didn't realize this was an old guy saying. This person says, old guys like to say, well, we got here at the right time when a line starts to get long at a restaurant.
That's one of those ones I hate myself when I say it out loud.
Oh, dude, I say that.
I do too.
Why do you hate yourself?
I don't know, because it is kind of an old, it reminds me of just like my dad or grandpa, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never realized that was an old person line. Maybe
Because
that's a sign I'm an old person.
Because when people say that, you look at them and you're like, yeah, clearly.
Oh, no.
I'm here too.
I had no idea. I'm a damn fool.
Also, commenting on the weather, too, to like a stranger in public just makes me feel like my old man or my grandpa.
Oh, Dana.
Sure, because we needed that rain, that's for sure.
Every time I say, it wouldn't be too bad if it wasn't for the wind. Like, who am I?
Steelers fan Jesus said his dad used to say, I didn't lose a leg in Nam for this. He's 61, has both legs, and was not in Nam.
That's awesome.
How about evidently? Also one that rings for me. My dad's side of the family. That's where I heard that a lot. Evidently this, evidently that.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed from Medical Device Jesus. Yeah, heard that before, directed at me.
Oh, wow. Who the hell would say that to you?
Uncles. They're very abusive mentally. How about that boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball?
Mm-hmm. I'm being told there is a bluegrass act out there summers, and the name of the band is Pert Near Sandstone. Maybe that's pert near where they're from. All right.
Oh, this one. My dad's famous for saying, I'm not heating the outside when he'd leave the door open. My dad would say the same thing.
Oh,
I love using that on my fiance.
a little NSP. That's what we heard around the house. How about a little NSP around here? That's because at the time, I believe the electric company was Northern States Power, NSP.
That was the same.
Yeah.
Yep, we had the same one.
My mom still calls that bill she pays every month. They don't have NSP anymore, but she
Right.
still calls it that. I find it so adorable.
So when we'd leave the lights on in the house, which the old man hated, he would always say, hey, how about a little NSP around here? Or he would look around the house and see all the lights on and say, God dang, I'm going to own NSP.
Yes. Oh, that takes me back.
Asking for a friend, Jesus said, if I had $1 for every time my dad said, they'll let anyone in here, when one of his friends or family walked into any room he was in,
Dude.
I'd be able to afford to live in Wyzetta, he said.
I'll tell you, I still hear that all the time. Speaking of Wyzetta, at the Wyzetta American Legion. Who left the door open? They let everybody in here. Anybody.
Oh, I've said that before. And that's one of those, Dana, where I'm like, geez, that is such an old joke.
Or when you show up to, like a fancy, like a wedding or something, you're wearing a suit, like, oh, you clean up nice.
Oh, that's another one. You're right.
I got another version of that. It wasn't so respectful when you show up to a wedding or a funeral dressed up nice. The older guys that I know would look at you and say, it's like putting an earring on a pig.
What about this one? Were you born in a barn? Used to get that, too.
Oh, yes. I got that all the time.
If you're messy, you'd hear that one.
All right, speaking of old folks, man, Gene Simmons. You've heard me before question out loud why I worship this guy. Because there was a long stretch of my life where I did. I just thought he was cool. How about this? If you want to know what it's like to be a rock and roll roadie, Gene's looking for roadies. I don't know what the hell. He must be going on a solo tour or something.
Oh, it's for the money.
What do you mean?
You got to pay $12,000.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's where I'm getting, but...
You ask, why does he need roadies? He doesn't need roadies. I mean, he's looking to make some cash.
Oh, sure. But is he going on some kind of solo tour? Have you seen dates and whatnot? Because I would go see, as much as I dislike the guy now, I would see him perform solo. Because hopefully he'd play some deep, dark, Kiss songs that he hasn't played in years.
Well, it must be because they're saying you're not loading equipment, but you get to go to a sound check, hang out backstage, that kind of thing. So it must be a show.
You're right. I don't know how I forgot that so easily. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he's going on tour. I don't see any Minnesota dates, though.
Okay. And he probably would disappoint me with the set list anyway. If you hand him $12,500, you can find out what it's like to be a roadie.
And it's a decent trip. I mean, it's 20 shows he'll be on, so he's going to make some pretty good cash there.
Come on.
I'm sure people will pay it.
Well, yeah.
Sure, Kiss fan,
Oh, yeah.
especially with the age they're at, they probably have a little more disposable income.
Very good point.
So, yeah.
They've been doing this for years now. If you want to be in our VIP row or whatever at a Kiss show, just give us $30,000, It's just insane. That's how much Gene Simmons will allow you to pay him to join the road crew. Oh, here it is right here. I'm an idiot. For his upcoming tour. For one day, $12,500. You have to load gear, set up the show, but you also get some perks. You get to eat with Gene. I bet that's upsetting. Sit in on the sound check, receive a signed set list, and a bass guitar that he used during rehearsal. I guess that's something.
You could probably sell that for something.
Yeah.
If you needed to.
Josh, how does a grown person say this? A substitute teacher at my high school was able to get his hands on and become the owner of a bass guitar that Gene Simmons used while recording their 1977 platinum record, Love Gun.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when I was in high school, I thought that was the coolest thing in the whole world.
That is cool.
And he brought it into class, and I got to touch the bass guitar that Gene Simmons used. What else do you get from this scam? Gene will bring you on stage and introduce you. You get to bring one guest. You can also bring up to 4 items for him to sign. But that $12,500 that you hand Gene Simmons to be his roadie for one day does not include your ticket to the show. You have to buy that separately.
That's ridiculous.
I wonder what it costs, let's say Metallica or something like that, what it would cost to get this type of access to them. Maybe this is not outrageous. It sure sounds that way.
It sounds that way.
But maybe it's not. If some of these huge bands, if you're going to pay for this experience.
You're probably right. You're probably right. I didn't consider that. I just wanted to get mad.
I don't know if it has. I mean, that might be astronomical. It sure sounds that way, but maybe it's not.
I don't think there's anybody. I can't think of a single musician that I would pay
Taylor Swift.
that much money. No.
$12,000, Taylor Swift.
I don't want to spend the day with her. I mean, I like her music, but I have no interest in spending the day with her.
What would you two talk about?
Yeah, I don't know. She's a cat person.
You don't think she'd
Not
be
really a fan of that.
I thought you were like the world's biggest Taylor Swift fan.
Oh, I absolutely love her. I just have, I don't know. I have no interest in chilling with them all day.
Oh, I'm not handing $12,000 to anybody. I don't care who. Even Iron Maiden is not going to get $12,000 from me unless I get to join the band and be on 3 records. Then maybe I'd hand them 12.
This is what I worry about this, though, for that person, the disappointment, because I wonder if it's really 15 minutes with Gene Simmons, and then the rest is just the experience of what a roadie would go through and hanging out backstage and stuff like that.
You don't think you and Taylor Swift could find something to talk about? I know I'm the last guy on earth that knows anything about Taylor Swift except she's dating
Travis Kelce.
Right. That's all I know about her. But at least from when I see her, I'm judging a book by its cover. To me, she looks like a nice person. I would imagine you too.
Yeah, maybe if we had a couple drinks.
Oh yeah.
I think she likes like vodka cranberries. I could I could drink some of those with her.
Maybe roll just a big fat joint.
Oh, see, now that would be cool.
That gets anybody talking.
Yeah.
Anyone can be friends, but you've rolled a big fatty.
We could bake cookies. I know she likes to do that.
Yeah, you're probably right, Josh. This probably isn't all that outrageous, but I just like to stay mad at Gene Simmons because of what he became. I've watched all the Kiss documentaries and whatnot over the years, and I always get a kick out of someone in every Kiss documentary, at least in the last 10, 15 years. There's always someone who will step up and say, everyone gives Gene all this credit for being a brilliant businessman. And a lot of the ideas he's credited for and will take credit for were not his ideas.
I always considered him a brilliant businessman.
Yeah, it's not true, apparently.
Real Dirt Nasty Jesus said for Tenacious D, he'd spend $12,000 to hang out with them.
Jesus.
I bet they'd be fun to hang out with, but that's so much
That's a
money.
lot of money.
Nah, there's nobody.
Yeah, you'd have to be getting a couple things, like how they're getting one of his guitars. That would be sweet mostly because you can flip it.
Oh, that's a good point.
And back to this Gene Simmons tour, which I would go see just to see what it's like. I'm a set list guy. I'm a big-time set list guy, especially if you're like Gene Simmons or these guys who have been playing for 50 years. You got to mix it up at one point or another. Come on. You got to mix it up because they always say, well, we got to play the hits because you never know when you might be attracting some young fans. That doesn't apply anymore, okay? You're 75 years old.
I think when you're in a band like that, an iconic band, your fans want to see, they don't want to see anything like that.
No.
Just keep it what we're expecting.
Oh, see, no. Really? See, I want to see it go the other way. I want to hear 15 songs that you've never played on stage before.
Well, yeah, you're in the minority there.
Definitely.
Really? Even hardcore fans?
I think so.
Yeah, I'd say so. I get upset when, I love A Day to Remember. They're my favorite band ever. And I get irritated when a new album comes out maybe like a week before I go to their concert. And I'm like, I hope they don't play too much of their new stuff. I want to hear the classics, the stuff I grew up with.
That's a different story. When there's a new record, you should expect your band to promote that new record. But I hear what you mean. So, Josh, like Mr. Big comes to town, your all-time favorite band. Def Leppard comes to town, another one of your all-time favorite bands. You want to hear Let's Get Rocked? And
I don't want to hear Let's Get Rocked. I mean, there's
But let's say they said before their tour, these two bands, Mr. Big and Def Leppard, let's say they said, look, we're not playing Photograph, we're not playing Rock of Ages, we're not playing Addicted to That Rush.
I wouldn't want to go.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I want them to come forward and...
There'd certainly be songs that they don't play in concert or don't anymore that I'd want to see. But yeah, especially who was the band? Who was the band you went to see where they played all new stuff and then your friend yelled the name of the band and said... was it Queensryche?
No, it was Rush.
Rush? And he said play some Rush because they weren't playing the hits?
But that was a new record situation. See, they're different.
I'm completely with Josh.
Kiss hasn't released a new record in, I don't know how many, 20 years, right? So I think it's okay to come out and forget Rock and Roll All Night, forget Detroit Rock City, do something for your fans who have been there from the word go and play songs that nobody would expect to hear.
Well, yeah, I agree with your... Yeah, I'm just saying a whole set list of that would be too much because you want to hear the songs you grew up listening to and things. If they didn't play Addicted to That Rush at a Mr. Big show, I'd be very disappointed.
Okay. We're different.
I
do want to hear the hits, but at the same time, I don't.
Special ed teacher Jesus wants to know if you guys would pay $12,000 to go see Mr. Big in Japan.
No, I love him, but that's so much money.
No, that's just too much money.
But it's Japan.
I know, we know.
Yeah.
We've gone on and on and on this program about...
But $12,000 for a vacation?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Josh.
And what else are you going to do when you're there? That's all you guys want to go do. Maybe hit up one of the underwear vending machines just to see it in person. But other than that,
I'll tell you what. At our age now, you know what we would do in Japan more than anything else? We would eat.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
We would just
I wouldn't eat like sushi or anything.
No, but we would eat and eat and eat and eat, and we'd try to squeeze a few drinks in, but then we'd get tired and go to bed. But Josh brings up, that was just one of the most hilarious moments I've ever experienced at a live concert. This was Rush 20 years ago. They had released a new record. And if you know Rush, or Iron Maiden's a good example, too. When they release a new record, they're going to play the sumbitch. And that's okay by me. That is a lot. That aggravates a lot of people. I'm cool with that because I do buy the records. And Geddy Lee, lead singer of Rush, even had a press conference or something before this tour and said, we are going to play our new record. I'm warning you, he said. So we go to the show. They played no less than, I think, 6 songs in a row from their new record. And a lot of the crowd was just fingering themselves because they didn't know the new songs. And in between the 5th and 6th new song that they played in a row, dude standing next to me hollers out, play some Rush!
That's a good line.
I dropped to a friggin' knee. That was great.
If they had, like Metallica had the double nights, I mean, that'd be pretty cool, right? You could go to one where it's what you expect, and then the next is like, hey, for fans that have been with us, here's some deep tracks.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Best case scenario.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I want to see new, meaning it's okay if it's a new song, but if it's just a greatest hits tour and you've done it forever, like Kiss is a good example. It's been a greatest hits tour for 25 years. Play a friggin' tour where it's all stuff they've never played live before. That would be the perfect show for me. But everybody's different.
I like the shows when they play an album, like one of their best albums.
Yeah.
Queensryche did that. Mr. Big just did that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That's fun for me.
In order, too.
In
Love
order.
that.
You like that.
Yes.
I think you and Taylor Swift would be fast friends.
I think
we
so,
got to
too.
take a break.
Thank you.
We'll be back. Janel Klein's going to be coming in. Stupid news coming up. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, I sure am glad Randy Shaver's getting a few more endorsements, huh?
He needs the money.
Yeah. Oh, he's a wonderful, wonderful guy. As usual, we've covered some things. We have already on the program. In case you missed it, we were talking about old folks. How they answer the telephone was one of the conversations we had. Now, here we have a text message from Hidden Huevos, Rochester, Jesus. I don't think he's an old-timer, but my damn does he have an interesting way of answering the phone. This is what he says when the phone rings, Cubby. He says, Jell-O pudding pops, this is Frank. We're all out of vanilla.
How did you come up with that?
I have no idea. We talk about old folks, specifically our old dads or our grandfathers, and some of the cute sayings that they had at the ready. Patriot driver Jesus. His old man always said to him, I'm going to start a boot factory in your ass.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Hilarious stuff. The stupid news, you say? Okay. We'll let her buck. This one kind of fits in. Well, if you're a longtime listener, you know that speaking of older folks, my late grandmother had a saying, and it nicely ties into our first stupid news adventure of the day. Grandma used to say, piss isn't funny. Piss is piss. And I never argue with her on that. I respect my elders. I imagine she had solid reason for her viewpoint on the topic. Here's a guy who wasn't trying to be funny at all. He was just acting like a little bitch. A doctor down in a terrible, awful southern portion of the United States. He had to go off to court after he was caught dumping gallons and gallons of human urine all over the front step of a local business. Now, the doctor who specialized in drive-by golden showers, he goes by the name of Giovanni Baula. He's 59 years old acting like this, Cubby. He admitted to this nonsense in court. He acknowledged and accepted responsibility for the urine attacks. And he said, and you'll like this, he said such acknowledgement is the first step in rehabilitation. You used some big words there. You must really be sorry for what you've done, right?
I guess, maybe he's on to something.
Baula, he was busted twice for dousing a doctor's office with gallons of fluid which had the odor of urine, is how it was stated in a police report.
My shorts had that yesterday. You guys know this.
Yuck.
Peed all over them.
Baula is a doctor. He soaked a different doctor's office with piss. And it sounds like dude was getting childlike revenge on some other doctor who bought out his practice a while back. And the pee doctor, despite being in his 50s, like I told you, he wasn't mature enough to deal with that and move on with his life. Dr. Baula cut loose with his urine attacks during late night hours. And I don't know what anyone else is thinking. I'm assuming he got the buckets of squeege maybe from the medical facility he worked for, but I might be mistaken. Maybe the pee doctor was making it all at home.
That would take a while.
Yeah, it would.
I could do pretty quick.
Josh,
I have a lot of volume.
He urinates a lot.
I have a lot of volume. I'm guessing it's his own. I was trying to think, well, how would he get it unless he just poured a little tiny pee sample one at a time?
I don't know. I just assume maybe they kept big 55-gallon drums of piss outside the doctor's office. I don't know why I would assume such a thing, but, medical waste, I don't know.
Oh, yeah?
He probably made it at home. His junior high level piss rage was recorded by surveillance cameras, so he was screwed. As punishment, the pee doctor, and don't get him confused with Dr. P, this is the pee doctor, he has to pay out some monies to the doctor's office that he soaked. He's going to have to stab trash on the shoulder with the minor consumption kids.
He should have to clean up urine out of, gas station bathrooms or something like that.
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah.
Clogged toilets.
Yes.
He'll be the guy to clean up the judge also, I mentioned this already, 20 hours of community service. So he's got to run around on the shoulder of the major interstates with the minor consumption kids. He also has to write a letter of apology. And apparently he's still working as a doctor, summers around town. Anyone want to sign up for a colonoscopy with this jagoff?
Nope. Yeah, not interested. He's no longer my guy.
This isn't funny.
Can you imagine? The guy obviously has a very short temper and pretty bizarre way to get back at people. Now he finds out he has to write them an apology, pay them money and everything. This guy's a nutcase. He should probably be locked up in a mental hospital for a little while until they can fix him.
Yeah, I think you're right. And according to the story, He's still a doctor.
How's that possible?
I don't know.
Well, you did mention it was Florida. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, that's nothing compared to what other doctors have done.
I wish I could tell you what is exactly wrong with people, but I can't figure it out either. We're staying here in the awful southern United States. A 29-year-old woman with the beautiful name of Shanika Serdal. She got herself arrested. Here's what she done. Last Thursday night at her neighborhood 7-Eleven convenience store, she straight up busted some fool right across the face with a can of Pringles potato chips. She did. And here's where I'll give you all day to figure out why she did this, because it's a mystery. The only sensible answer is simply that we've become terrible people in every possible way over the last 5 or 6 years. But here's what the police have to say. Police say Shanika walked up to a fellow male customer who was also hanging out at the 7-Eleven. She walked up on the dude. She called him a bitch. And then she smashed him across the face with the Pringles can. Now it says here, by damn, dude suffered a, quote, significant cut on his right eyebrow and under his eye. He was bleeding like a sumbitch. He was confused as to what the hell just hit him and who could blame the poor bastard.
Gosh, she must have put a lot of force behind that because Pringle cans aren't very heavy. Those are very lightweight.
Yeah, you're right, Ashley. It's kind of like that story we had in sports yesterday where somebody got brained like a concussion from a track baton. Those things are light as a feather. You really got to swing a Pringles can or a track baton very hard to do that much damage.
I guess you just get them with the right part of the metal there on the top and bottom. It's been a while since I've seen a Pringles can, but that's how I remember them.
That's a shame.
There's an update on that track baton story we can discuss when Dinkus gets here at 7:30. Yes, I know the Pringles slogan is once you pop, you can't go ahead and stop. But Shanika only smashed the dude in the mush once, and then she ran like hell. The police
Bravely.
like the brave people do. The police found her down the street. She still had the Pringles can in her big old hands. Now, here we go with the excuses that aren't actually excuses. Shanika told police that the dude she lit up was being rude to her. Dude with the Pringles can-shaped wounds on his face said he has zero idea what she's talking about. And I love this part. An employee, a witness, says the guy wasn't doing anything wrong at all. But right before he was hit, he told Shanika and the store employee that there was a guy laying down on the sidewalk out front the building. So maybe that had something to do with it. That is hilarious. Picturing that is funny to me. Dude, just trying to be helpful, he says, hey, heads up, there's a dude laid out on the sidewalk out front. Next thing he knows, all he sees are stars and a close-up shot of the Pringles logo. Tough crowd, he probably said. Tough crowd.
Oh, geez, Jesus texted in and said, oh, man, that my mom has taken a few Pringles can-sized things to her face. Come on.
Oh, man.
Ashley, can you talk to someone about getting a new bell?
Yeah, absolutely.
This bell has died. Yeah, all the dude said is, yeah, there's a guy laying out on the sidewalk. Boom! Gets laid out by a Pringles can. And we're not done with that particular snack food. Again, with the Pringles. This is more versatile. The Pringles can is more versatile than maybe some of us might have imagined. And kind of like our last story, it's unfortunate that the friendly-looking feller that appears on the can is getting dragged into such dark and terrible places. You know, a friend of mine's dad, who's now passed on, Josh, looked exactly like the man on the Pringles can.
Oh, really?
Yep.
With the big mustache and
adorable.
everything?
For a second there, I thought he was getting royalties.
I mean, like the mustache was that big?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Big, fat cookie duster. And he was always kind of brushing it. You ever seen a guy with a really big, fat, old-school mustache? He always had to keep kind of pressing it down so it wouldn't shoot up his nose or get into his mouth. He always had to mop it
That's so cute.
with his hand. Hey, boys. He was always kind of talking through his hands. Says here now, Josh, the Mexican mafia and a sheriff's deputy out there in Los Angeles have been using Pringles cans to smuggle drugs into a prison.
I would not mess with the Mexican mafia. Well, any mafia, but it seems like the Mexican ones go extra.
Yeah, I'm not going to tangle with those folks anytime soon.
Decapitations, hanging you off a bridge, all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
No
God.
thanks.
Using Pringles cans to smuggle drugs into I guess it's better than somebody's anus. Pitchess Detention Center is the name of the facility. All kinds of shady methods made this scam work, if only for a little while. Secret codes and this and that. The sheriff's deputy that got in trouble goes by the name of Michael Miser. He was assigned to a specialized unit that monitored gang activity in the prison. And now he's charged with conspiring with gang shot collars to smuggle heroin into the joint. Miser got himself arrested a while back. He allegedly brought a bag into the jail. Someone took a look on inside and found more than a pound of heroin inside 2 tubes of Pringles. I think, but I know nothing about drugs, somewhere's in the neighborhood of $226,000 worth of dope, it says here.
I could see developing a drug habit if I was in prison for a while.
Might as well.
I
Definitely.
could see trying to escape for sure.
I would be.
I mean, in my mind.
I would be a completely different character. I would be addicted to drugs. I would be all the bad things because I'm not built for that. This Miser guy was into some deep, dark, inside stuff with the inmates. It's way too long of a story to get into. I guess I would say if you've ever seen a prison movie where 1 or 2 of the guards are in cahoots with an, in cahoots with an inmate or 2, then you can easily imagine the details here. One of the dead giveaways that this Miser guy was shady, folks say he was, quote, living beyond the means of a sheriff's deputy. He had a BMW. He had an Infiniti. He was building a custom Ford truck, and it also says here he had gone on a couple dates with Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany.
He's a glutton for punishment.
I don't know. I think I'd try to lay a little more low if I was making that extra heroin money on the side. I don't think I'd have a BMW. I don't think I'd be.
You see that a lot in movies. There's always the one guy that ruins it for the rest of the thieves.
Yeah. Goodfellas. Remember the scene when Robert De Niro said, when they made the big heist at the airport, don't spend any money. Guy shows up with a new car.
Yep.
Guy shows up, his wife's got a fur coat. He came unglued. This poor guy now. This is a hell of a video. You might want to get a look at this one. Josh, have you checked in with the human cannonball this morning? Do you have his cell number?
I do.
How is he doing?
He's getting surprisingly well.
Right before the shot, I think the wind moved and it started crosswind, and that's what happened. The wind caught me and threw me off to one side.
See, he's in good spirits.
He sounds like himself. The friggin' human cannonball act went sideways at a county fair in California. Have you seen it in person, the human cannonball?
No.
Oh.
I didn't think it was still a thing anymore. That's awesome that it's going on. I mean, in this case, obviously, we realize how bad it can get. But
Well, I witnessed a human cannonball. It probably was 1978 when the circus came to town.
This video is on 93x.com.
And it's hilarious.
You got to check this out. The poor bastard got shot out the cannon, but he missed the safety net at the other end. And the sumbitch landed all ass backwards and upside down on asphalt. Now, the human cannonball has a name, you heartless people. Chachi Valencia also known as Rocket Man Valencia. The crowd watching Chachi's show, they screamed when he hit the ground. Folks say, and you heard Chachi say right there, a strong gust of wind blew him off course midair, and that's why he missed the net. And he doesn't sound like the biggest guy in the world. I don't think you can be the biggest guy in the world and also be a human cannonball. So I imagine a decent gust of wind could send him off course. I'll go along with it. Now, the poor landing lacerated Chachi's liver for him. His ribs were broken, and so was one of his wrists. A GoFundMe page for his medical expenses has cut loose on the internet. He said he's in good spirits and would be back in the air soon. Don't do it, Chachi.
Yeah, I don't think I'd get back up there.
Don't do it. Maybe stop being the human cannonball and try something else. Like
you've done enough.
Maybe try being a human centipede.
The way he does a couple of cartwheels through the air.
Oh, God.
After he hits the net. Oh, or
It
the
doesn't look
corner
real.
of it.
I also read, too, I think that he's like third-generation human cannonball, so I think it's really cool that he's, sticking with the family business.
It seems like a lot of those, it's like that, right? Tightrope walkers and things like that.
They all come from some wacky family who spend their entire lives, walking wires and that. But I think Chachi should knock it off at this point.
Yeah,
no more human centipede.
He has nothing left to prove.
The kids watching that
besides
happen.
being able to hit a net.
He could be a human centipede. He could be a member of the 80s new wave band, The Human League, if he wants to stay with the same theme. Try being a human rain delay. Just stand around and make certain processes last a lot longer than they should be. I think he should be done being the human cannonball.
Boy, is he lucky that he didn't land worse, though. He could have landed on his neck so easily.
Well, didn't he?
It doesn't...
Well, what he's lucky is that he caught the net a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he were to miss the net completely, he'd probably be, at best, in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. So you never saw the human cannonball, Josh. What is the most death-defying act you ever saw in person? Because I know we both used to go to the Midway at the State Fair when they had crazy things happening there. It wasn't the kid-friendly joint it is now 35, 40 years ago.
Well, I mean, not bizarre, but like...
Death-defying.
Well, Supercross.
Or straight-up Supercross.
Yeah, Supercross. Also, I forgot what it's called, but where these dirt bikers are in a big, like, round...
The ball of death,
yeah,
the
whatever they
circle
call
of death.
That's incredible watching that.
I would probably say the same thing.
Cirque du Soleil, perhaps.
Mine would be the crashed ice. Watching how fast those guys can go.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't see that.
A bunch of Swedes falling down a hill with skates on. That's all that was, Ashley.
They're going a lot faster than I expected them to.
Anyone can fall down a hill while wearing skates. I'm sorry. I went to that live, and I've been questioning that decision to this day.
Then maybe we saw different shows, dude, because I was enamored by that. I thought I would never, ever do that. I would die so quick.
I would go along with you, Josh. I've seen some things. But the dudes on motorbikes, is it the circle of death, the globe of death?
Something like that, yeah.
Someone text us, 651-989-9393, if you've seen the show or know what we're talking about. I saw that at the Midway a couple years in a row. It's got to be close to 30 years ago.
The globe of death. And sphere of death.
Sphere, I think is the word we were missing. That was truly insane to watch.
And how fast they get going.
Unbelievable that you could just stand over the top of this globe of death, sphere of death, and watch them. You guys have any idea what we're talking about?
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen it in the Simpson movie, but that's about it.
Not quite the same in the Simpson movie. I'm sorry.
Ryan Gosling did it in a movie, too.
Okay.
No, he was one of the Circle of Death guys.
I mean, sometimes they get like 7 dudes in there. I don't understand how they do it.
I could not comprehend the timing. I kept waiting for instant death.
Yeah.
And
I mean, these guys are sideways at times. It's incredible.
I can't even explain it. Sideways, upside down, 5, 6 of them in their top speed on a motorcycle. And what was so weird about it, Josh, was we walked in day one of the fair. So, and there was no internet to spread the word that these guys were coming to town. It was just show up and find out. So me and Big Al and I think one of his brothers were the first 3 swinging Ds to walk up and say, well, what is this? And they said, well, come on up, walk up to the top of the sphere, we'll show you. We were just absolutely breathless.
If you get a chance to see it, you guys should.
Yeah, I'm watching the video. I was thinking it was, are you guys talking about the big cage, or are you just talking about the one that...
It's a sphere.
It's a sphere made out of cage, if that makes any sense.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
because I was watching some videos where it's just like the wall.
A few people are texting in saying 7 dudes at once. Your mother's no stranger to that, Josh.
Oh, no. There's a lot of people saying that. So is it true?
They're all going with the same joke. Yeah. I mean, again, and they showed up 2 years, back-to-back years, never saw them again. They must have hit the big time. And good for them, because that was truly an incredible show.
And then sometimes like they'll have lights and stuff on them, if you've ever seen them at night. They'll all be lit up, and it's even cooler.
It was amazing to think that on one side of the Midway, here are these 5, 6, 7 guys. Some of them were teenage kids, literally dodging death all day long at the Midway. On the other side of the Midway, they were playing the coin flip game or whatever. You know what I mean? I thought, what are you guys doing here? At any rate, obviously, as you could tell, I was impressed.
Somebody, Scott from Hugo, sent us a Facebook Marketplace listing for the Globe of Death. It sold for $6,000.
You could buy one?
We should buy one.
Somebody, wait a minute.
I couldn't even do a bicycle in there.
Oh,
I can't imagine.
Not a damn thing. I couldn't accomplish a damn thing. I'll be the barker. That's what I'll be. You guys go in there and get yourself in real trouble.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dubois, Carlson, Van Riemsdyk, Duhane, all in the box with minors.
I love it. I wish it was all for 5-minute fighting majors, though, but you're not allowed to have
That's
them.
a long time ago.
After the first fight, everyone else would get a game misconduct for the secondary and the third. And
It's simple arithmetic, Cubby. If all 10 skaters on the ice get into a scrap, then 10 guys are going to end up in the sin bin. And they will feel shame. That took place in a game the other night between the totally unnecessary and the Capitals. That game went a little bit sideways. 5 guys in each penalty box. Pigs are playing right here in town tonight against Colorado, 7 o'clock on the FanDuel channel. The Sam Darnold thing is all over with. We'll tell you more about that when Randy Shaver and Janel Klein come into the building here in about a half hour. New York Yankees ace pitcher Garrett Cole is going to miss the entire baseball season with Tommy John surgery. Doesn't that just break your heart in two?
My fiance told me that news yesterday. Like he was telling me that we were going on vacation. Said, hey, I got something to tell you that you're going to love. It's like, oh, what could this be?
Isn't that something? That's where we're at as Twins fans. We celebrate when players for the Yankees are injured for the entire baseball season.
Yeah, I felt pretty bad celebrating, but, yeah, you know, what are you going to do?
As simple as it sounds, we've been talking about how we answer the phone this morning. Some folks have a cute something or another, something out of the ordinary. How we answer the telephone. Maybe it's different now. I think, Josh, you said with caller ID now, you know who's calling, so you no longer say hello. You just say, hey, Donnie.
Yeah, usually. Or, what's up?
Some folks still have a gimmick. Here's Uncle Daddy Jesus. His girlfriend's mother back in the day would answer the phone by saying, Jesus loves you.
I'd be so scared.
It's a nice reminder.
I would be frightened by that. I'd be frightened by that. That's a little too serious for me when you're answering the phone. I don't know if I could live with this, Josh. This sounds like something you would probably enjoy. I think if it was happening today, I would tell this individual, look, we're only communicating via text message. Because apparently a listener of ours has a buddy where every time he answers a phone, he says, talk to me, Goose. I couldn't do it.
I
If it was
love that.
like 1998 or 88 or 89, that's something.
I couldn't do it.
I still hear
really
people
like that.
saying that, though. I still hear that.
It's crazy.
Maybe because of the resurgence of Top Gun.
Oh, the resurgence of Top Gun. It certainly had an effect on each and every one of us. Don't go anywhere. Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
If you're listening to sports,
how the Chiefs react to this loss will be fascinating.
Mixed with pop culture, sprinkled with celebrity interviews.
True or false, Kevin Bacon, for your role in Footloose, you attended classes at a high school.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman, what was it like working with Gene Hackman?
He came up in one scene and whispered in my ear, "I'm going to hurt you." I believed him.
Then you're enjoying the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Speaking of podcasts,
follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Racine County 911.
My mommy is being bad.
Oh.
Okay.
Come and get my mommy.
Boy, you hate to hear stories like this.
What the hell happened now?
A kid has to call the cops over something happening at home. A 4-year-old Wisconsin boy called 911 on his own mother last week after she ate his ice cream without his permission. Determined to see justice served and maybe get his dessert back, the boy called 911 Tuesday. As the Racine County dispatcher tried to make sense of the situation, Mom jumped on the line to confess.
Okay, what's going on?
This little one got the phone and he's 4. To get my mommy and I just told her to put her to jail.
I ate his ice cream, so that's probably why he's calling 911.
Officers decided to check in on the pint-sized plaintiff.
Here we go again. Right, they brought him an ice cream truck.
But when they arrived, he had a change of heart. Sure, he was still upset about the missing ice cream, but realized sending Mom to jail might have been a bit extreme. The officers left without making any arrests, but they weren't done with the case just yet. The next day, they returned, this time carrying something better than a badge: ice cream. In another recent case, a 2-year-old Moore, Oklahoma toddler with a sweet tooth called 911 requesting emergency donuts, you may remember. The dispatcher engaged with the toddler, and after confirming there was no real emergency, arranged for officers to deliver donuts to the child's home the next day.
Preferential treatment.
A tornado tore through a news station near Orlando yesterday, right in the middle of a live weather report.
A tornado?
Yes. Meteorologist Brooks Garner, with the biggest brass nuts in meteorology, was on air with when the EF2 twister, packing winds of about 115 miles per hour, hit the news station.
Dude.
With no time to spare, he urged his colleagues to take shelter under their desks.
This is a look at the live camera of a tornado passing by our station right now. We're catching debris right now on the roof. We're hearing, you can see the debris flying there on the camera. This is a tornado. Seek shelter immediately. Get under your desks, guys. Anchors under the desks. Okay, we got power flickering out. This is a confirmed tornado. Okay. I've been doing this for a very long time. That's the first time a tornado has hit while I'm doing the weather.
Thankfully, no serious injuries were reported, but the storm left its mark, flipped cars, and destroyed at least one home.
This is up on 93x.com.
That guy's going to get laid.
Oh, yeah, he kept his composure as best he could.
That was only an F2. I'm not impressed.
A 28-year-old man in Peru somehow survived after being hit by a cargo train after passing out drunk on the tracks. He was struck in Lima Saturday while reportedly intoxicated. He fell asleep along the train tracks and didn't feel the train coming, a police spokesperson said. Footage shows the man lying on the tracks, his head resting directly on the rail, legs dangling off in an elevated section. Moments later, bright lights appear behind him. Just as he started to lift his head, the massive train barreled toward him and made direct contact. In a horrifying instant, the train drags him briefly before he somehow manages to stumble off the tracks. This is on 93X.com, right, Ashley?
Yep.
Stunned witnesses rushed to check on him, and incredibly, he stood up on his own. A later photo showed him wearing a yellow jacket, his cargo shorts stained with blood as officials assist him. His left arm was bandaged. That was the only visible sign of injuries. The train knocked him over, but through some miracle, it didn't kill him, a police spokesperson said. In August, a man wasn't so lucky. He was killed by a cargo train while trying to cross those very same tracks, and witnesses say it was gross.
This video is insane.
Yeah, I have no idea how he survived. He was just seconds away from getting decapitated.
It's one of the oldest mysteries in the history of the world, is how they say it, Josh. What is it about the train tracks that draws drunks in?
It is weird.
I've been drunk off my ass in a lot of different towns. Somehow never did I feel the need to go check out the train tracks, but it's like a common theme.
Yeah, even I've done that.
You've passed out or gotten drunk and somehow wanted to head for the train tracks?
Yeah, like walk on the train tracks, just check them out. I have no idea why.
While drunk, though?
Yeah. Usually when I was a kid, I did it just sober and fun. But yeah, as I got older and I was able to drink, let's go walk on the train tracks.
And of course, Josh knows back in our day when we were young, sometimes villains would tie our girlfriends to the train tracks.
Yeah.
While twisting a long mustache.
At least 8 people were injured after a disgruntled customer plowed into a CarMax store in Inglewood, California, Saturday afternoon, turning a routine day at the dealership into a fast but mostly furious movie. According to police, the suspect had just left the store, got into a vehicle, and deliberately crashed into the business, an act authorities say stemmed from a, quote, business dispute.
The noises was just a bunch of glass breaking, screeching, metal hitting door frames, and then just a bunch of noises you wouldn't hear.
Surveillance footage captured the moment when a silver Subaru reversed through a doorway, maneuvered inside, then sped out through another exit. Following the crash, the driver fled the scene, but later turned himself in to police, where he was arrested.
That sounds awful.
In a statement, CarMax confirmed the suspect was a customer who had come in for a vehicle appraisal. The company said several associates and customers were injured in the incident. He must not like what they offered him.
Oh.
Initial reports mistakenly suggested an active shooter situation, but police later clarified there was no gunfire involved.
So the guy didn't like the offer, but I bet driving through the dealership, that really upped the resale value on that car.
Yeah, it tanked it. Maybe it was... Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say this is also on 93X.com.
Sounds hellacious. The audio is great. One of the greatest things I've ever seen in person was when I was working at Soft Touch Car Wash in St. Cloud, Minnesota for $4.25 an hour in around the year 1991. Cold day, so I was working at the car wash. Cold day, so we were keeping both doors open, the entrance and the exit. And thank God it wasn't me. One of my coworkers pulls a clean vehicle off the line. The throttle sticks. He sends the vehicle straight through the exit door.
Oh, so the doors were down. You mentioned you left them open.
Doors were down.
Okay.
Did I say open?
Yeah, you said open.
For Christ's sake. The doors were closed because it was so cold out. Pulled it off the line, and he's going, and we're wondering, are you going to find the brakes on that pig?
Oh,
Nope. Right through the friggin' door. It was about the funniest thing I'd seen up to that point in my life. The owner of the car, Josh, very understanding.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Nowadays
they wouldn't be. That's great.
What did he do afterwards? Because I think I would get out of the car and then run.
Oh. What did the driver do?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I was down to a knee laughing. I don't.
Did they keep their job? Do you remember?
That I also don't remember. But
because a friend of mine cost a dealership 2 engines. He was a lube tech and he forgot to put the drain plug back in. 2 engines within 2 weeks.
Oh. Oh, poor guy.
Kept his job?
Kept his job, yep.
Well, not easy to find lube techs. It's awful easy to find someone to drive a car off the line to the exit, but I don't know. Maybe they kept the guy. I'm not sure.
A Memphis man, Flem.
Oh, God.
A Memphis man had an unexpected wake-up call early yesterday morning by an unusual suspect. When officers responded to a home just before 4 a.m., a man told them he'd been lying in bed with a woman when his 1-year-old pit bull Oreo suddenly jumped on the bed. The man said in a freak accident, the pup's paw got caught in the trigger of the gun, causing it to fire. The bullet grazed the man's left thigh, barely missing his yam hammer and power plums.
Oh, God.
But left him with a minor injury to his leg. If that seems tough to believe, Fox 13 Memphis anchor Daniel Wilkerson feels the exact same way.
We want to get you to some breaking news just out of our newsroom here at Fox 13. A man is in the hospital after being shot in the leg overnight. Memphis police say he was shot by his dog. Seriously. I don't think that's right. Shooting the man in the thigh. Wow.
Well, there's a guy that doesn't pre-read a story.
I guess not.
Deepening the mystery, the woman reportedly fled the scene with the gun, leaving behind only a single spent shell casing by the time officers arrived. Police continue to investigate that odd incident.
She ran away with the gun.
She did. Yeah.
But it was the dog.
That's what the guy claims.
Yeah.
The dog shot him.
I don't know, brother.
Multiple calls about a reckless driver in the Florida Keys led deputies to find a 55-year-old man dancing along the freeway last week while naked. They arrested Timothy Mahoney of Montgomery, New York, on charges of DUI, drug possession, and resisting arrest after dispatchers got calls Wednesday about a reckless driver, including reports the suspect hit some traffic cones before stopping. Mahoney was outside his truck wearing only a construction hard hat, dancing to music, a police spokesperson said. He went on to say he was trying to smoke marijuana from a pipe while being detained, and he was taken to jail.
What's the story with all the nudity?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just wearing the hard hat. Where'd he get the hard hat?
I don't know. Trying to smoke pot.
Naked, dancing on the side of the freeway. Mm-hmm. A 54-year-old woman in Japan has been arrested for locking her naked partner out of their balcony overnight, where he froze to death.
Oh my God. That's
good. Presumably with a frozen inverted penis. Authorities in Nagasaki charged her with assault and lethal confinement after an investigation into the quite literal chilling incident.
Inverted.
I'm guessing it must have went inside.
Definitely.
If it's cold enough to die.
Inverted.
Back in February 2022, she forced her 49-year-old common-law husband onto the balcony with no clothes on and left him there, officials said.
Jesus.
By the time police got there the next day after an emergency call, the human popsicle was barely clinging to life. He later died of hypothermia. That night, temperatures dropped to about 39 degrees.
How high up were they? The guy couldn't. I mean, if it's you, wouldn't you have? I mean, I'm imagining he did everything to save himself.
Yeah, I don't know his level of intoxication, if that had something to do with it. Or like you said, it could have been very high up there.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a fear of heights. Investigators also discovered she'd previously attacked him with a knife, leaving a cut on his nose.
She took it to another level this time.
Yeah. Despite the evidence, she denies everything, reportedly telling police, "I've done nothing." Authorities haven't explained why it took so long to bring charges.
Not a pleasant way to go, I would bet, Josh.
I can't imagine. This could be bad, too. Luckily, they survived. This is on the opposing end of the thermometer. A 29-year-old Kentucky man's facing charges after trapping a coworker inside an industrial cleaning area at a food processing plant, then cranking up a steam machine and leaving her to suffer in the blistering heat.
Pretty mean people out there.
The two had been working together in the washroom where trays are sanitized with scalding steam, which can reach 200 degrees.
Our understanding is up to 200 degrees the room can get up to when it's closed. And so at some point, the two of them were talking about how the one could get shut the other one in there, and obviously he did. And so when he pushed her in there, he started the machine.
The woman had no way out. The door wouldn't budge from the inside, and a second exit was blocked by pallets. Desperate, she managed to reach the emergency shutoff, but not before suffering injuries and even losing consciousness. Authorities are still piecing together the man's motives and acknowledge the lingering uncertainty about whether this was a prank gone wrong or something more sinister.
I don't want to speculate on exactly why I did it. It was just joking around, even though that's not really a good joke. But at this point, we charged him accordingly.
In response to the incident, the food plant fired him. That case is under investigation.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like effing around gone wrong.
That's what it seems like. And some of his coworkers said the same thing. The guy just doesn't know how to have limits on a prank. Nearly killed this lady. He cooked her. 2 Illinois residents with an unusual hobby, exploring abandoned Kmarts, were caught outside a shuttered location in southeastern Wisconsin. Just before midnight, February 26, officers noticed a vehicle parked outside the vacant store. When they approached, they found 2 individuals standing nearby. The pair, who identified themselves as former Kmart employees, explained they enjoyed visiting the remnants of the once iconic retailer.
Interesting.
Despite their nostalgic intentions, the officers issued both individuals a warning for trespassing and instructed them to leave the premises.
They like to hang around the empty Kmarts.
Yeah, they're just traveling the country and breaking in.
I miss Kmart. I still have a $5 gift card to Kmart.
Oh, you might need to travel a little
Are they all gone now?
I think they're all gone, aren't they?
I believe so.
Is that right?
I can see where they're coming from, though. I follow an Instagram account about abandoned malls, like pictures of abandoned malls, and I find it very fascinating.
It looks terrifying to me.
It does. There's something very apocalyptic about it.
I remember in the summers, my grandma would take us there. And when that blue light special started going in some parts of the store, she'd be racing to get there.
Get your ass in gear, son.
And what might be the crappiest reason for a flight diversion, an Air India plane had to make an emergency U-turn back to Chicago thanks to clogged toilets. The airborne plumbing nightmare started when 11 out of 12 toilets on the aircraft became unusable.
11 out of 12?
Yeah, meaning just one bathroom for over 300 passengers.
Josh, we don't travel on airplanes very often. Is that common to what?
That's huge. That's a huge plane, obviously.
What is this, the Titanic or something?
The decision to turn back was made about 4.5 hours into the flight, somewhere over Greenland, which meant another 4.5 hours of collective suffering before touching back down in Chicago. A spokesperson for the airline noted this wasn't the first time that this has happened. Apparently, people are flushing foreign objects down Air India toilets.
Stupid idiots.
Blankets, underwear, diapers, plastic bags, and other waste have been flushed down those toilets on this plane and other flights.
How stupid.
The ordeal lasted a solid 10 hours, though for some a liquid 10 hours. The airplane blamed the incident on a technical issue.
Jeez.
Oh, we know about technical issues. Like right now. Sorry if any of the podcasters can actually hear us now. I don't know if they can or can't, but the podcast is not going well.
The stream, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
So sorry.
And I mentioned this. Good thing we lost our one and only engineer last week.
Duh!
Good
we
times.
have nobody to call.
Johnny Knoxville's 54 today. Happy second birthday to Alora from Ashley's future mother-in-law. Did
you say Laura?
Alora.
Alora. Yay. Happy birthday, Alora.
Happy birthday to Charlie, turning the big 06, and that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver. That is the gentleman who showed me his butthole.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's people who are not going to be with us on opening day, or in April, or in May, who are going to be there at the end, helping us win. All the work matters. Your families are on the field. Everybody's celebrating. You got parades. I've never had a parade. I want a parade. Okay? The community will forever be indebted to you. Forever. They'll love you. I want to give our community a gift like that.
Rocco Baldelli, the twin skipper, with some inspiring words there at spring training, talking about how he wants an effing parade. Now, something I like about Rocco, and I watched this video. There's a lot of things I like about Rocco. But in the video, he proved he's not afraid to swear in front of children. And I like that about a guy.
That was your takeaway from it?
Yes. There's a lot of things I like about Rocco, but I learned by watching that video that he's not afraid to swear in front of children. And that makes him a good guy, a trustworthy guy in my book. Good morning, Randy Shaver.
Good morning.
Just when...
That's all it takes, right? Just swearing?
Well, if I just met the guy, it would take more than that. But we've all gotten to know Rocco a little bit. Just when we thought that technical issues were going to be the worst of our problems this morning, here comes Randy Shaver. And also, Janel Klein just walked in.
Good morning.
You're a cure-all, Janelle.
Oh, right.
You've been up all night, huh?
I feel like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How you been?
I've been good.
How do you keep up your lifestyle? How do you keep it going?
Do you have a bedtime, Janelle, that you try to stick to?
Just ragers. Every night.
You can't lock her down, Ashley.
Look at me. Look at the bloodshot eyes. What do you think I've been doing?
Randy Shaver, you and Janelle demanded that the Vikings show Sam Darnold the door, and they did it.
They did it.
The Sam Darnold thing is over.
Actually, I think Sam Darnold showed the Vikings the door.
He did.
I don't think it was the other way around. I think the Vikings would have liked to have found a way to keep him, but not at the price that Sam got.
Boy, he cashed in.
Well, I mean,
holy heck.
Well, are you saying that game against the Rams in the playoffs allowed the Vikings to open that door a little bit? Right?
Well,
he was so terrible.
Well, the whole team was terrible too. I mean, it wasn't just Sam. So, but I mean, he earned the payday.
He was pretty bad. Yes, he did.
He earned the payday, and the Vikings here, as we saw yesterday, not signing Sam meant that you were able to go out and fill a couple of big holes on your team.
Okay.
They signed a veteran center.
That's right.
Ryan Kelly, who phenomenal player for the Colts for many years. They go out late last night and sign Jonathan Allen from the Washington Commanders, another Pro Bowl defensive lineman. You're not going to get those guys if you keep Sam Darnold.
Right.
You're just not going to have the money. Plus, they re-sign Byron Murphy,
awesome.
which is great, and they sign the running back. So they were able to go out and get a couple of key players for their team because they did not spend the money to sign Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that's how it all broke down. He's going over to Seattle to play for the Sea Ducks. 3 years, $110.5 million by Dan. Because you mentioned yesterday, Randy Shaver, the Seattle Sea Ducks, they traded Geno Smith to the Raiders. They had no one to play quarterback.
Well,
why not snatch up Sam Darnold?
I have to believe this was their plan all along. Their plan was to sign Darnold, and they traded Geno. They certainly gained about 5 years at the quarterback position as far as age goes. And, Sam had a great year. I mean, he proved that he can play at a high level.
Yeah, until the games really mattered. A lot of people are texting in predicting total disaster for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Now that they've invested all this money in Sam Darnold, we will see.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a busy day. Lots of things happening with the Vikings. Yeah, I think you covered everything. There was one more, and this is the biggest story of the day. I told you, and now it's happened. The Vikings signed Rodgers.
No.
They did. They signed him yesterday.
Signed
the
Rodgers.
internet would have broke down.
The internet did break down. You were in Coon Rapids. There is no internet in Coon Rapids.
How'd you miss this, Ash?
Yeah.
Isaiah Rodgers.
Right.
Super Bowl winning cornerback from the team, again, we should all be grateful to until the day that we die, the Philadelphia Eagles. They signed Isaiah Rodgers. I just hope there was just one or two Vikings fans who were skimming the internet and just saw Rodgers and Vikings and might have wet themselves just a little bit.
I got my son and his buddy on it yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
I got my brother with a similar prank back in the early 1990s when the Minnesota Timberwolves signed a big center out of, if my memory serves me correct, North Carolina State University. And his name was Randy Shaver. Can you tell me the guy?
I'm not going to remember the name, but I remember the circumstance.
Clarence Shackelford was his name.
Shackelford, that's right.
The Timberwolves signed Clarence Shackelford to a contract, and I called my brother.
Shaq.
Called my brother. I said, they got Shaq.
Yep.
What? They got Shaq. I said, watch the news tonight. Oh, my God, he says. Of course, there's no way for him to back check this in 1992 or whatever. It wasn't Shaquille O'Neal. It was Clarence Shackelford, who lasted about 2 hours here in town. NFL fans all made the same joke about the Seahawks signing Sam Darnold after trading Geno Smith.
I love these.
Basically, they made jokes referencing the idea that Sam Darnold and Geno Smith are the exact same person.
The best one is, I love this viral meme, are the Spider-Men that are dressed exactly, they're exactly alike, and they're pointing at each other.
Yes.
That's so funny. A couple of these are up on 93x.com, too.
Many people feel that they are, when you really think about it, the exact same person.
Yep.
Well, let's see here. Darnold and Smith have had similar career paths. They both were drafted by the New York Jets. Had their chance with that ball club, but like many other Jets quarterbacks, they did not enjoy much success. And I guess, yes, they have since proven that they are capable of being a reliable starter.
Yeah.
I thought the one that was funny was when they're comparing the two quarterbacks. They go Smith, he's on the left, and it's just a guy with the shirt off. And then Darnold's on the right. It's the same guy, but he's tan. That's the only difference.
Yeah, lots of football stuff going on. Up and down. The real Karen Rodgers, it says here, he and the Pittsburgh Steelers could have a deal in place by today. Now, speaking of the New York Jets, they have a new quarterback. Justin Fields. Is that breaking news? That's breaking news. He's decided
It is.
to. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Last year,
yesterday.
he spent last year with the Steelers.
Yep.
Now he's going. I wouldn't want to be the guy to have to save that friggin' franchise. But maybe.
Did you guys ever read the Sports Illustrated story that came out maybe like 6 weeks ago about the Jets and all the dysfunction?
No.
Oh my God.
Was
So
it bad?
interesting. So interesting.
I mean, we've all heard some stories. What's
Actually,
the story?
it wasn't Sports Illustrated. It was the Athletic.
What's
And
this?
it was just so interesting, just the way, the dynamic of like how they make decisions and the ownership, and it's just so interesting to see the behind the scenes.
Can you remember any specifics?
Yeah, what's a story that maybe we wouldn't be familiar with?
Well, one of them is there were. I don't know the sources. I don't remember if anyone actually went on record, but it was that the teenage sons of the owners have undue influence on.
Oh, we have heard that.
Yeah, from Madden football.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Yeah, they got their info. They were to say, hey, Dad, the Madden rating is whatever for this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I also heard, Janelle, and tell me if you read the same in the article that you're referencing, that the owner, his name is Boner.
Woody Johnson.
Woody Johnson. I knew there was
Boner.
some
That's
reference
his name.
to an erect. I read that the owner's sons or grandsons or whoever they are, these young 20-year-old kids, felt very comfortable going into the locker room and criticizing players.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Hey, bro, you didn't have a very good game today. Hey, man, what's up with you? You need to block that guy on that. And they were critiquing the players as if they knew word one about football.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
It came out in December, I think. I'm wrong. It was longer ago than that. But yeah, it's interesting if you.
We're not mad at you. Yeah,
No.
we read some of that stuff, and it sounds like it's. Oh, Randy, are you upset?
He's disappointed.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Sorry, Randy. Trying to get my facts straight over here.
You are a reporter,
Right?
after all.
What am I
Right.
doing?
Yeah, reporters report.
Bill Belichick and his girlfriend are celebrating their, I think I have this correct, their 1-year dating anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
I think she called it a Meat-iversary.
Well, no, there's two separate things.
Oh, okay.
There's two separate things. But we are going to talk about the Meat-iversary because I've never heard that said out loud, and I was instantly aggravated.
I knew you would be.
Yeah, I am too.
72-year-old Bill Belichick and his 23-year-old. By the way, I've never looked thoroughly into the details of this relationship because I can't stand the sight nor the sound of Bill Belichick. But I did last night. I never knew his lady was such a super fox.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'm not naive to old-timers with money and power dating scorching hot females. That would be silly. But I assumed, maybe because of my dislike of Bill Belichick, that sure, he got a 23-year-old girlfriend, but she can't be all that great. I saw a picture of her. She's a super fox.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
She can do a lot better than him, that's for sure.
In what way?
The looks department?
In the looks department.
Yeah, not the money department.
So I should know this, I suppose.
Yeah.
But how when you say Meat-iversary?
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad, Janelle.
Oh, come on, Janelle.
Well, going back to the first anniversary here, did anybody here ever celebrate the anniversary of your first date? There's no way I would remember.
Yeah.
Right.
You did?
Yeah, that's common for people my age.
Well, so they're directly celebrating the anniversary of their first date, not just we've been dating for 1 year? I don't know. What are you saying?
Either way, yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
But
that's
isn't
very common for people my age.
It wouldn't. To me, it's very similar, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way I could remember the month or anything with my wife.
You don't remember the first time you met your wife?
Oh, I remember when I first met her, but I don't remember our first date.
First date.
Like I couldn't tell you the date of the first date.
Sure.
Does that get you in trouble?
No.
That you can't remember?
Again, Josh.
Can you remember the Randy?
Randy.
No, I can't. Well, I can remember the date. I don't remember the actual day that it happened, but I get in trouble for that, for not remembering.
I remember what we did.
Josh is not you, Randy, and he is also not Brad.
Yeah, I believe me and my fiance, the first time we started talking was June 14th. We made it official August 20th.
Official. It got that way, Janelle, in Canada.
Yep.
Oh.
That's how it became official.
Official?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always like to bust her balls for her Canadian accent.
Vegan Jesus said his wife and he celebrate their sexiversary, which is June 14th.
I like that.
Lovely.
That's cool.
I think Ashley just said June 14th. Was there some kind of a group thing happening?
Yep, party in Otsego.
All right. So, Belichick and his girlfriend, they celebrated their anniversary with a dinner date over the weekend. I'm sure it was lovely. This past February, this is his girlfriend talking. The reason she pays attention to these things, Josh, and the reason you probably can't understand it is she's 23.
Oh, yeah. Like Ashley said, that's a young person's game. I think.
So, this past February, Jordan Hudson is her name, noted on the evil, soulless, and wildly misinformed social media. She shared this past February that they also celebrated their Meat-iversary. I had never heard that said out loud. It's the first day that they met.
Kind of makes me hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep waiting for the texts to come in about my mom.
Oh, they're coming for sure.
It's been brutal today, Randy.
What's happening?
I said I'm just waiting for the text to come in about my mom.
Oh, no.
The Pringles can thing got ugly.
Yeah, a few things did.
She just never gets a break. So, of course, none of us can remember dates exactly. Well, maybe you can.
I'm horrible with dates.
Does anyone have anything to say about the first time you met your significant other? Not that you would go as far as to celebrate a meat-iversary, but, do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I remember where we met. I remember our first date. I don't remember when we decided we'd be exclusive.
Yeah.
I kind of
You were
remember
juggling
our
a few at the
anniversary.
time, weren't you?
That was the sluttiest time of my life.
You had a few cooking at once.
I remember the first time we had marital congress before we were married. I remember all that. But I couldn't tell you a date of any of that.
No, that's maybe if you were 23.
Yeah, I have all those kind of things saved in my phone, like under my notes app, under his name.
Can I read it out loud right now?
No, that notes app has other things in it too.
I would never touch Ashley's phone.
The notes app.
So you're saying you saved, you punched into your phone, we met on this date. First time we...
Kind of like your diary.
Yeah. The first time he threw me into the tall grass was on this date.
Yep.
We kissed on this date.
Yep. First time we said we loved each other, that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow. You're pretty serious about this guy.
I'm just really, I'm sappy. I'm a big sap, so I like remembering that kind of stuff.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Was the first time you kissed and the first time you...
The same day, yeah.
Are you serious? What the heck, Ashley? Had you been dating for a year or so at that point?
Yes, absolutely, Josh.
Dairy farming, sheet metal, banging your mom, Jesus, said he celebrates on May 1st every year because that's the day he moved his ex-wife out of his house.
Oh!
Some people do celebrate the anniversary of their divorce when that became official.
That can be very memorable, yeah.
Meat-iversary, Dana. Meat-iversary with the wife. She's not your wife yet.
Not quite yet. Yeah, I remember the date. I think it was January 10th.
You definitely remember. I looked on your
you better
registry.
get it right.
Your registry has every date of everything you guys ever did.
Are you pretending not to remember? A lot of guys will pretend not to remember.
No, I mean, I actually can attest to this. I'm horrible with dates and remembering things. That's all thanks to all the dates on the wedding website, Josh, are all thanks to me marrying a second-grade teacher who's very organized about that type of stuff.
Yeah, I went to Dana's fiance's one of her bridal showers, and they did this cute little gimmick where ahead of time they asked Dana questions about the bride.
And it was on video.
Yes, and so it was recorded on video, and they asked, really simple questions like, what's her biggest pet peeve? All these cutesy little things, and we were supposed to see if Dana would get them correct, if we actually thought he was going to answer correctly. And he got her birthday wrong.
Boy.
It was the very first question. It was kind of like, let's start with the softball. When's her birthday?
All right.
And I pooched it.
That's nothing.
It was a great moment. The look on her face was priceless.
I'm never going to live that down for the rest of my life.
If you ever get in trouble, just let her know that 10 years into my marriage, I got my wife's eye colors wrong. When somebody asked what color her eyes were.
Oh, I've been there,
And
Josh.
I was way off.
I've been there.
Well, I'm actually kind of happy because when we get married, the date is March 29th, and that's part of my cell phone number. So I can always remember that at least. So I'll know the anniversary because it's in my cell phone number.
Did the two of you first communicate on the internet?
Yes, we did.
So it wouldn't.
I guess that would be
the first.
Yeah, so that would be sometime.
Or maybe you only count it when you met in person. I don't know. I can remember the first time I met my current wife. It was 36 years ago. So I think I'm hanging in there all right. We were at a beer party at Big Phil's house. Big Phil had a kegger, Janelle. Oh. Yeah.
I haven't seen Big Phil in a long time.
Like she's disappointed she wasn't there.
Oh, you wish you would have come. Trust me, you wish you would have showed up at Big Phil's beer party.
Was it love at first sight, Nick?
For her, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
You had a couple other girls there?
36 years later.
She was absolutely crazy about me from the word go. True story.
What's changed?
We got old. We don't care anymore.
Do you guys think Bill Belichick has these dates in his
of course
iPhone
not.
now?
No.
Like his notes in his phone?
No, you just got reminders when to take his medications.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Maybe I should know this. How did those two meet? How does a 23-year-old and a 70-something-year-old, how do you ever even cross paths?
They were at the club together.
The club?
Yeah.
That is
You mean like a nightclub?
Oh,
No.
Janelle, I
that
remember.
information is out there. It's like she was interning somewhere, maybe with the Patriots, or it was there. The story's out there. I just can't remember, nor did I care.
They were sitting next to each other on an airplane.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard. That they were on a flight from Boston to Florida, and that they were sitting next to each other.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, Meat-iversary. Everybody should keep in mind their Meat-iversary.
Everybody that's texting in is spelling it incorrectly.
Yeah. Well, that's because it's in reference to my mom.
Hey, Randy Shaver, the high school track athlete who smacked her competitor in the skull.
Yeah, I saw this.
With the baton. Has broken her silence about the incident. Her name is Layla Everett. And like we said yesterday, they were running in the Virginia State High School all-time track meet. They were running in the 4x200 meter relay race. One gal passes the other. The gal by the name of Kaylin Tucker passes Alina Everett. And Alina hits her over the head with the metal baton. Tucker suffers a concussion, possible skull fracture. This Everett gal gets a lot of backlash online for what she did during this foot race. While speaking to the local news over there in Virginia with tears in her eyes, she claimed that the incident was purely accidental.
Just a question by myself. Nobody's going to believe me because I can admit from the video it does look purposeful, but I know my intentions and I would never hit somebody on purpose.
I'm glad she finally came forward and was honest about the incident.
Stop. She looked directly at her before she decided to beat her with a baton. She locked in on that girl.
A lot of folks aren't believing.
Yeah, I'm not believing it.
Sure looks like she did that on purpose.
How do you accidentally whack somebody twice?
Yeah, I've run a lot of track races. That was intentional.
I say what you will about what she did, but I think I'd watch a lot more track if I knew there were going to be baton fights in that race.
Sure. Extreme track.
Yeah.
A lot more or any track?
Any, yes.
She said, no one's going to believe me because it does look purposeful, but I know my intentions and I would never hit somebody on purpose. She claims that the baton got stuck in her rival's singlet and she lost her balance, and then she's trying to and in the process of, your arms pumping while running, it's a hell of a story. A hell of a story. All the circumstances, according to this young gal, as to how it ended up that she whacked a fellow competitor over the noggin with her baton. One hell of a tale she has to tell.
Yeah.
Now, her mother, and this is always truly interesting to me, those parents who just can't bring themselves to admit that there might be one little negative thing about their children. They just can't bring themselves to do it because their child is just so special. This gal's mother said she didn't have to see the video because she knows 100% that her daughter would never do anything like that.
Girl, watch the video.
It's too bad she can't be honest. You flip out. Every once in a while you flip out. Maybe she's spinning this story out of fear of a massive lawsuit. Whatever. I flipped out all the time as a young athlete. All the time. I would lose my temper and do terrible things. Just come clean.
You have to own it.
Just say, look, that's all you got to say. I effed up. I flipped out. I'm an idiot. She didn't want to do it.
No.
My parents would never defend me like that.
No, that's also, it's a whole different set of circumstances there.
Yeah, a lot of long, quiet, awkward ride homes after I got a red card or a technical foul in basketball, and just, kind of that, we're not mad, we're just disappointed. You let us down type of vibe.
Oh, that gave me the chills, Dana. That sucks.
Well, I mean, I did it to myself, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy she could come clean about the incident. Randy Shaver, hearts are breaking all over Twins territory, reading that Garrett Cole will not be able to pitch for the New York Yankees this baseball season.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Hearts are breaking.
It's a good thing they signed Max Fried when they did because they've still got an ace on their in their rotation. But yeah, losing Garrett Cole for the year, that sucks for Yankee fans.
Tommy John surgery. Said last year he was feeling some soreness and this and that.
Yep.
Had a start against the Twins a couple years ago and experienced alarming pain afterwards. And they found out they got to pull all of his insides out and start all over again. And they got injuries all up and down, like you said. Is it Luis Gil?
Yeah, Gil.
Gil.
Yeah, that's their young pitcher who had a great year last year.
He's in trouble. Giancarlo Stanton's in trouble injury-wise. I hate to read bad news about the Yankees. I do.
Yeah, Gil is going to be out for at least 2 months. So,
what the hell is this? A listener of ours by the name of Steven. Vacation Jesus, I think is his handle. He says he once smoked pot with Tommy John himself.
That's cool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, Tommy John, really?
What?
Is Tommy John doesn't come off as a pot smoker to me.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Randy.
Really?
Neither does Janel.
Yeah.
Well, Janelle kind of does. She's from Faribault.
Touche.
You don't think is Tommy John still alive?
Yes, he is. He's 81.
I just don't. I was around Tommy John a couple of times.
Yeah,
because
he worked for the Twins, didn't he?
And he just didn't come across as that kind of a person.
Well, a lot of folks can hide it well.
Yeah.
81 years old. You don't think he ever tried any of the sticky icky? 81 years.
There are a lot of people I've met throughout my life that do not seem like potheads and are very much potheads.
You don't think Tommy John ever took a big hit and said, "Oh, damn, that's the boogie woogie"?
I don't think so, no.
My mom tried pot for the first time when she was, 70.
How'd
That's
that
funny.
work?
It seems like maybe now with how the laws are and everything, more and more older people are doing it. I know a couple of guys that just started and they're in their 60s.
Oh, now everybody's high.
Yeah.
In the last few years, everyone from 2 to 92 is high. On gummies or the drinks or the weed, what do you call it, the blunts, whatever you do. My mom was so totally naive to it. She was at a getaway with a bunch of ladies from the office that she worked at. And she went outside to have a cigarette. She came back into this, cabin they were all staying in. They were up north, all these gals, and there was no one in the cabin. She said, "Well, what the hell? Where'd everybody go?" Well, she found them all in a bedroom smoking marijuana cigarettes. And she said, "I'll take a bump off that." I don't think it remained a regular habit. Vanilla vodka is still her one true love.
Oh, gross.
What?
A bunch of people are texting in that we missed a Step Brothers joke.
The Tommy John?
Yeah.
That was a joke.
I don't know it.
Neither do I. I don't recognize it.
You're saying the Tommy John line was a joke from the movie Step Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know that one. The Internet's having some fun with some new ball caps that are for sale from Major League Baseball. Every year they got to come out with 15 new ball caps for your favorite Major League club, so you spend more money. They got a new hat. It's called the Overlap Collection. And what they do there, Randy Shaver, is the team's primary logo overlaps its official word mark. And to simplify that, say for a Twins hat, the TC logo is pasted on top of the word Twins.
This is really cool looking. I like it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they looked terrible.
Yeah, I don't really like them either.
Because, one example I saw online was the what do you call them now again? The Anaheim Angels. So they have the word Angels, and then on top of it is their A logo. So the A logo is blocking some of the letters in the word Angels.
Yeah, I
it
think
makes it
some
look
of
like
them,
a different word.
Yeah.
I think some of them don't work, but I like the Twins one.
Okay. Here was a mistake that happened with the Texas Rangers. So their primary logo, which is a big letter T, over the word Texas. Well, the T covers up this and that, and it comes out, it looks like the word Tetas. Tetas. Now, that doesn't mean anything in English, but in Spanish, it's a different story. Take your best guess as to what that word means in Spanish.
It's perfect.
Tetas. So, the Dallas Morning News reported that all of the hats none of those style of hats are for sale any longer on the Rangers website because it says a dirty word in Spanish on the friggin' hat.
The Angels hat is a little too close to a word, too.
It looks like anus.
No.
It doesn't look like anus?
Anals.
Right now, Josh is saying, I'll show you something that looks like an anus.
Some taters.
They're silly looking, but they're silly looking. But they got to keep pumping this merch our way to see if we...
You're right, though, Ashley, that the Angels one does kind of look like anals.
Yeah.
Anals. Does anyone here play Fortnite? Janelle, what's your top score in Fortnite?
She's ranked.
Is that where those people do dances and all
Yep.
that?
Yep. That's exactly right.
That's all I know about it.
What would be your go-to video game if you had to play one?
I can't even name a video game.
What about Miss
Name
Pac-Man?
one.
Oh, Miss Pac-Man. That would be my
Did you? I thought you said you played a little bit
a
of.
little Miss Pac-Man when I was young.
Jiminy Christmas, what's happening over there, Randy Shaver?
Doing rails.
Sounded like you just blew up a birthday balloon in 1
Me?
second. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Miss Pac-Man was your game.
That would be it. I mean, I haven't played it in a long time, but that would be it.
If you play Fortnite, anyone here play Fortnite?
No.
Okay.
My youngest does.
If you play it, you can see their newest character, and that's Shohei Ohtani. Shohei, however the hell you say his name. This is a thing, right? Like Snoop Dogg will appear in the game. You can buy his character. I know nothing about these things.
Yeah, wasn't Justin Jefferson on it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Shohei Ohtani will be there. And he will wear his Dodgers uniform. And his dog will be featured alongside him in the video game. And he'll have a magic wand and all kinds of things. So if you're a gamer and you play Fortnite and you like baseball, you like Ohtani, you'll be just straight up touching yourself. LeBron James is in there somewhere if you're playing the game. That's how, I wonder what kind of money he was able to pull from that deal.
Yeah, right.
As if he doesn't already have enough, but.
Yeah, had a couple parlays go bad. He needed to make some more income.
Oh, yeah. I still think there was something shady going on there.
100%.
Give me a break. The other guy's looking at friggin' prison time. Shohei's in Fortnite. You don't think there was something shady going on there, Randy Shaver, last year?
Yeah. I'm still not totally convinced he didn't know what was going on. But.
Yeah. You don't drag the best player in the world through the muck and the mud in a situation like that. We'll just kind of dump it on his translator or whoever that guy was. But we don't need to dig up that old story. The Pigs are playing right here in town tonight. Pigs are playing in town against Colorado, 7 o'clock on the FanDuel channel. We mentioned their struggles yesterday.
Right.
On that Colorado roster, you'll find Nathan McKinnon. Last night, he reached a 1,000-point mark with an assist early in the third period. He ended up with 2 points on the night, both assists. He's the reigning MVP. He's the 100th player to reach a grand. 1,000 points. Other fellers from the Avalanche Nordiques franchise to get there, Joe Sakic and Peter Stastny. I like reading about the guys who played their asses off and almost got to 1,000 points. You know who had 995 points, Randy Shaver? Jason Spezza. You know who had 992? Phil Kessel. 989, Paul Correa.
Good player.
Yeah, until Scott Stevens murdered him on the ice during the Stanley Cup Finals a number of years. That prick Chris Chelios, 948 points. My Eskimo brother Blake Wheeler, 943 points.
Oh, wow.
You know
is Blake Wheeler done?
Is
he still playing?
I don't remember. I think he's on a roster. Someone look him up.
Because he was with Winnipeg.
Yeah. I believe he is currently still on a roster.
Okay.
You know who hit? What did he get up to? I got numbers all over the place in front of me. 923 points, Neil Broughton. You know who has 903 points? Brent Burns.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a defenseman, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that he had reached that point. You know who had 889? Zachy Zach.
Wheeler's not on a roster right now.
Really?
Well, he'll always be my Eskimo brother.
Yes, he will be. That's what when he looks back on his career, that's what he'll think about most.
Can we put that on his Wikipedia page?
I would. Oh, man. Can't you
probably.
edit Wikipedia all by yourself?
Yep.
I learned that you could edit Wikipedia all by yourself when I saw one of my best friend's names on the list of former members of Faster Pussycat. There's a rock band from the 80s, Janelle. Yeah. I was bored one day, and I was scrolling through and there's been lots of them, all of the guys who have been members of the rock band Faster Pussycat, and there it was, one of my pals' names. He did it all himself. He wanted to be known as a... Randy Shaver can attest to this. Here's two more guys, old NHL guys, who almost made it to 1,000 points. And if you look them up, if you're a younger person, they look more like they were living in a dumpster than playing pro hockey for a living. Butch Goring and Dennis Maruk.
Oh, boy.
Florida Panthers top defenseman Aaron Ekblad was suspended 20 games for violating the terms of the NHL's performance-enhancing substances program. He failed a random drug test. He was shocked. He said, I made a mistake by taking something to help me recover from recent injuries without first checking with proper medical and team personnel. He's very effing apologetic. Well, we'll talk to Marky Foligno tomorrow, I hope. I think Marky's on tomorrow, isn't he?
Yep. Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe ask him. How could you possibly be careless with such a thing when they take it so seriously these days? Well, maybe I should say they don't really take it as seriously as they used to. They're more lax on pot and things like that. But still, you're going to take a random piss test. Here's another guy who said, yeah, I didn't really check with the doctor first. I don't know.
That is awful strange. I mean, when you look at how many athletes claim that they innocently took something that they didn't realize could cost them some games. In this day and age, with all that out there, it's pretty. I think it's pretty rare, really, that you don't check with someone before you do that.
A couple of text messages that have come in. North of 95, Jesus, back to, we were mentioning that Colorado Avalanche forward Nathan MacKinnon has reached 1,000 points in his career. North of 95, Jesus says Nathan MacKinnon can go ahead and take a puck to the perennial.
Ouch.
Another listener says, if you get close to LeBron James in Fortnite, he falls down and you are assessed a personal foul.
And he tells you he's the best ever. I was watching an interview with, I think it was Scottie Pippen, who just blasted LeBron James for saying that he is the best player to ever play the game when Michael Jordan is sitting out there. And he talked about how Jordan never once in his life, in his career, ever said when he was done that he was the greatest player to ever play. Pippen said, when you are the greatest player, you don't have to say it. Other people say it.
Scotty, I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. I think he's one of the biggest pricks to ever live.
Yeah, but he was the greatest player.
Well, of course he was. No one's arguing that. Michael Jordan is a prick. But Scottie Pippen also, I don't think he's mentally well. And all he does is just...
Yeah, but I don't disagree with that philosophy.
Oh, I don't either. I'm just saying. I think the guy's nuts.
If you have to tell people you're the greatest, you're not necessarily the greatest. If you have to tell people that, right?
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hear you on all that.
It's like when Janel graduated from Faribault and said she was the greatest to ever graduate from Faribault.
Is that what you said in the commencement?
And so many people from Faribault said, no, Janel, that's not true.
No, she's just the only person who ever graduated.
I think we all assume that snowboarding enthusiasts likely smoke a little ganj now and again, right?
Yep.
Sure.
But this is totally different. The U.S. Department of State, whatever that means, is offering a $10 million reward for the capture of a former Olympic snowboarder who's been accused of running a major drug trafficking organization and for orchestrating multiple murders.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, this has been out there I read about this like last week. This guy's on the run still, right?
I missed it. Yes, he is on the run.
He's on the run, yeah.
He's a Canadian. He's 43. He goes by the name of Ryan Wedding. And he's on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive list. Routinely shipped hundreds of kilograms of cocaine from Colombia through Mexico, South America, Canada, here in the United States, orchestrating multiple murders in attempts, this is the words of the FBI, orchestrating multiple murders in an attempt to furtherance these drug crimes. Boy, they are They're full of themselves over there, aren't they? His remains are unknown. That is serious business right there.
That's crazy.
Does anyone remember seeing this guy on
No.
the, what do you call it?
Well, he didn't place he wasn't like
He wasn't the greatest?
Yeah. And he didn't say that he was the greatest either.
Oh. They always got to be cute, too. Every police report has a stand-up comic working part-time for them these days. Wedding, that's the guy's name, went from shredding powder on the slopes at the Olympics to distributing powder in the streets of the United States. Murders? Dude. They say he's a dangerous man. That is not good. $50,000. Okay. $10 million reward for information leading to his arrest. That's the State Department Bureau of International Narcotics. They got $10 million for you. The FBI's got $50,000 for you. If you can help them apprehend this guy. Oh, yeah, it says right here, he competed for Canada in the 2002 Winter Olympics and placed 24th. Hell, I could do that.
Yeah.
Josh, I think I could place 24th in any event. Just name me an event. I could be 24th best.
NASCAR.
I could be 24th.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
This guy also had a lot of nicknames. El Jefe, The Giant, Public Enemy, James Conrad King, Jesse King. My alias? Spoonie Love from Up Above.
Oh, my favorite.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Hey, Randy Shaver, before we go, Madden Greenway.
I'm just reading about her right now.
Is one of the best girls basketball players in the state of Minnesota. And one of the best that they've ever seen, they say here. Yes?
Next year, she will likely break the all-time scoring record in the state of Minnesota.
Held by who?
Rebecca Dahlman. You remember
Sure
Isaiah?
I do.
Remember Isaiah Dahlman? He played at Bram.
Yes, I do.
And played at Michigan State.
Yep.
Rebecca was his sister.
Mm-hmm.
She holds the all-time record for boys and girls at 5,060 points.
Mm-hmm.
Madden is already over 4,000 points, and she's just a junior.
Now you'll
so
be
she has 1 year left.
Yes, you'll be seeing this gal, and we'll talk about tomorrow's girls' state high school basketball tournament. We'll give you the rundown tomorrow, but you'll see her school, Providence Academy.
Yep.
They've won 3 straight titles, haven't lost in over a calendar year. Madden Greenway is the daughter of Chip, Charlie, Chad Greenway.
Yes.
She's committed to Kentucky, and just like Randy Shaver said, she has the rest of this season and then her senior season. Already over 4,000 points. She's on pace to set that record. But there's another Randy, and that's a gal from Crosby Ironton named Tori Orline.
Yep.
Who is also a junior with an equal shot at the record.
And those two have kind of a friendly rivalry as far as points go, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now again, Josh,
Madden's not the only Greenway on that Providence team. Her younger sister, I believe, is in 7th or 8th grade, and she is also on that varsity basketball team.
I think her name is Beckett.
Yeah, Beckett. So there's another Greenway, and I don't think she's the youngest. I think there's another one after Beckett. All daughters, by the way. 4 daughters for Chad.
Oh, God.
It's kind of funny because I'm picturing Chad Greenway shooting a jump shot, and it's just very awkward looking in my head.
Well, neither he.
You don't think he can ball?
No.
His wife was a great athlete at Iowa. She was a great track athlete.
Yeah,
So
we're not
there's
talking about his wife. We're talking about him. Dana says Chad Greenway sucks at basketball.
You can tell him I said it, too.
Josh,
what?
Put me on a girls' varsity basketball team right now. Give me 3 years. I could wind up the 24th highest scoring player. I could.
I thought of something I don't think you could reach 24th.
I could finish 24th in any event you name.
What about a handsome and hung contest? You'd be higher than 24th.
Well, what I mean is at least 24th.
Oh, at least 24th.
Yeah. Well, this ought to be something. We'll be watching these gals starting. Crosby Ironton also is in the tournament. Starting up tomorrow.
I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Is Maple Grove in?
Yes.
Okay, because they've got the number one player in the state this year. I think her last name is Ode, O-D-E.
I'll go along with it.
Yeah, she is. She's like the number one player in the senior class in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading about the teams that are going to be playing tomorrow, and some of my favorite, areas or, spots that I'm familiar with. Minnewaska area. I used to spend a lot of time up there. Used to spend a lot of time on Lake Minnewaska. Caledonia. That's one of the towns my mama grew up in. Caledonia. Benilde St. Margaret's. Yeah. I know an old-timer whose sons went there. He's an old-timer, old TV guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. I had one other thought, and I lost it. But I guess I'll remember tomorrow when we start talking about hoops. There you go, Randy Shaver.
Very good. Janelle, you did a great job.
I think so.
I tried.
Yes. You don't say you're the best. We'll say it for you. You are the best.
Hey, someone texted in Randy Shaver and said Muhammad Ali always said he was the greatest. You're not mad at him, are you?
No, I'm not mad at him. He was the greatest.
Oh, I remembered the final note I wanted to give you. And we can all look this up if we want to. That snowboarding kid who regularly finished 24th, who now is on the run because he murdered people and dealt drugs, allegedly. People are telling me his wanted poster, if you go to the FBI's website, he looks like Lawrence from Office Space. I got to get a look at this guy.
I didn't notice that.
All right, well, maybe it's not true, but who doesn't love Lawrence from friggin' Office Space, played by genius actor Diedrich Bader. Thank you for including that, because I always forget the guy's name.
Okay, yeah, if his hair was different, definitely.
Oh,
okay,
man.
I see that now.
What was it? Hey, Peter, man. Watch out for the cornhole, bud. Maybe the best line in movie history. Watch out for the cornhole, bud. Who wrote that? God help us. Thanks, Randy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
All right, we'll be back in a minute here on the program with more Janel Klein.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
No Contest Wrestling. O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson with the biggest names in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, X-Pac.
Getting suspended in school, that's the number one thing people, when they meet me, they tell me.
I got detention.
Yeah, everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liv Morgan.
I couldn't believe that was my time. I was so grateful.
Talking about living dreams. No pun intended, TJ. Relax.
I rarely do these anymore, but I was really looking forward to this.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Welcome back to the show. We've gotten all the ways up to 8:32 here on this wonderful Tuesday morning with television star Janel Klein paying us a visit in studio. All right, I made a claim on air earlier. We were talking about a guy, a criminal, actually, who finished 24th in a snowboarding event. And I claimed I could at least finish 24th in just about any event you throw my way. Now, some listeners are challenging me, is how you say it, on that claim. Here's an individual doubting I could finish 24th in a swimming contest. He says it's hard to finish 24th when you just sink. That's outdoor weed Jesus. Look, I'm not a great swimmer. Not a great swimmer. But all I got to finish is 24th. Mayonnaise drinking contest. Now, mayonnaise is disgusting. But you know what else is disgusting, Josh? My level of pride.
That you'd go for it? Yeah, I was going to bring up in some sort of eating contest. I don't think you could finish 24th.
I'd go down on that mayo like a stray dog to prove myself correct.
I don't think you could do it. And I hate doubting you on anything, but I know your distaste for it. And I know you've mentioned you can't eat like you used to.
Alpine skiing was brought up. I know how to ski.
What is alpine skiing? Is that just like cross country?
Yeah, you go down the hill. There's some bumps in your way. What else did they? Here's a listener says, I couldn't place in the top 2,000 in gymnastics. Hey, pal, you don't know me. You don't know what I'm capable of.
What about, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
And you can't, wait, are you saying you could practice up and then eventually in time you achieve this, or right this very second?
I never really thought about it. Let's just go with right now. You could put me in any event. I will at least finish 24th.
Adam Sandler quotes from movies.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Yeah, that's... No.
Can't do that one?
No, I couldn't
We
do
found your
Adam
kryptonite?
Sandler quotes. No. Spring break, Janelle.
Oh, it's coming.
I know a couple people who are on it this week.
Really?
Yeah,
Already?
Already. And somebody went on last week.
Tell us one spring break story, Janelle. Go.
Oh, God.
Did you meet a guy?
I don't have any great guy stories. I mean, oh, man. There
Did
was
you,
just a lot of antics.
Any of your friends go to jail?
Thank God, no, because we went to Mexico a lot. And can you imagine getting thrown in jail in Mexico?
No.
Oh, one of my friends can.
Are they still there?
Was there vomit?
But there might have been.
Were there two-piece bikinis?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you come back with cornrows?
I never did, but that was a thing.
Your Senior Frogs wristband still on?
Yep, Hard Rock Cafe.
The reason I bring up spring break, I mean, it is that time of year. I wasn't aware until I saw this article. This Bonnie Blue, she's the latest porn star that everyone's going to obsess over for the next 2 months, and then she'll be completely forgotten about. This Bonnie Blue has gone to Cancun, Mexico for spring break, and I'm sure it's all over her Instagram and all that. People have been grossed out by this Bonnie Blue's behavior. Well, for Christ's sake, she's a porn star. One dude, there's a still photograph here. One dude let her spit booze into his mouth.
That's disgusting.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't even let my wife do that to me. I don't, that, for whatever reason, I get, all the porn stuff, whatever. But that just looked really gross to me. I don't like it.
He's on his knees. It's just...
Body shot, spring break, Janelle. It's happening right now. What are we doing here?
I don't know. Last time I was in, you guys were talking about all that fun you had on those trips.
Oh, yeah, the radio station faraway trips.
I wish we could do that. I wish we could have like a show.
It'd be totally different now.
Oh, my gosh.
Unfortunately.
We'd have so much fun.
It'd be totally different now.
It would be different. I've never been on one spring break. Those are the most...
No.
Those would be the closest you could say, and they weren't really spring break related.
You're working.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about even in high school.
In high school, anything.
No,
yeah.
never saw it.
I'd mentioned this before, but a buddy of mine is he is a teacher. He's a high school teacher, and when kids would find out he wasn't going on spring break, they looked as if he just told them he has cancer, as if it's not something that's some sort of treat. It's just expected.
Right.
Like everybody does it. Everybody does.
That must be nice.
Oh, man. Dana, how many competitors are there in a Royal Rumble? 30?
30.
There's a listener saying that I would not finish 24th in the Maple Lake Royal Rumble. I think I could finish as high as 24th in the Maple Lake Royal Rumble. Hell, I've been in one already.
I think you could get it done.
Thank you, Ashley. All right, moving on. Maybe one day, Janelle, when we're old and done with this, we could all go on a trip together. I know how it'll work, though. Someone will say, Cancun, Mazatlan. What's the other one I heard a lot of over the years? What's the spot that's like southern Texas everyone talked about?
South Padre.
South Padre.
Oh, there you go.
We would all shout those cities out loud, and then we'd end up going to Rochester or something.
I'd prefer that.
Where nobody would bother us and we could just have a decent meal at a reasonable and get to bed early.
Yeah.
We would act like we wanted to go to South Padre. We're not going. As far south as we're going is Rochester.
I would go to Rochester with you guys.
Oh, I love Rochester.
Yeah. I think we could have a lot of fun. We could stay at like the KARE.
I'll go. The KARE, is that a hot spot to...
More of a Red Roof Inn kind of guy, Janelle.
Oh, you don't want to go too highbrow?
No.
Yeah.
Actually, I dated a girl who lived there, and she lived right by an alpaca farm. I wish I knew you then.
What?
I wish I knew you then.
Oh, that sounds like a dream come true.
Oh, man. One thing I've learned on this program from all of you, some of you are very anxious people.
I can be.
Anxious people.
I'm anxious right now, just wondering what you're going to bring up.
Yeah, dude.
Not me. I'm as cool as a cucumber. That's
Yep, that's how we know you as, Josh.
Anxiety is a real thing with one or two or all of you. Okay. Here are things that feel embarrassing that shouldn't be embarrassing. So tell me if you'd have trouble with any of these things. Anxious.
Yes.
My anxious coworkers. Well, I don't really understand why this would be on your list of choices because anybody would have a little bit of anxiety on your first day at a new job.
Oh, yeah, I'd be terrified.
But that being embarrassing, that's what. So when I was looking at this list, my fiance saw that one at the top, and he was like, "How is that embarrassing? Like everybody has to do it." And I was like, "I don't know, but I understand exactly what they mean. Why is it embarrassing
If you don't know,
to be new?"
Yeah, I mean, just you probably feel like everyone's staring at you and waiting for you to screw up.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
that
just-
kind of thing.
Do you remember your first day here, Josh?
Yeah.
I remember mine.
Mine was just one dude here. It was overnights, right? So it wasn't like a whole bunch of people.
So your first day here, you went straight on air?
No. I was like interning for an overnight guy.
Oh, you weren't the overnight guy?
No.
Okay. Were you nervous? Were you scared?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. But I didn't, it wasn't as bad because I didn't want to work here. The guy invited me in and said, hey, you want to hang out? And I just never left. So I think that's a little different, right? Because I wasn't like really hoping things would work out. We just needed bodies at that time.
I remember my first day at this here radio station. My first day, I didn't do much. I just kind of sat and observed.
Same here.
The morning show at the time because I was hired to be, as I've shared many times, I was hired to be the new character on the morning show with prank calls and character voices, and that was going to be my role. Now, day one, I just sat and watched. Day two, I don't think I had even sat down yet, and they drugged me on air. My very first gig was going to be that morning. They were going to send me out on the street to do this or that. Well, I was not expecting to be hauled in front of a live microphone on my second day. And also, I had zero understanding of how a radio show works. So they drag me in and they say, here's our new character. Now, today you're going to be doing this, and this, right? And I said, yeah. There was some dead air, and they said, and then later you're going to do this and this, right? And I said, yep. And they started laughing and said, we'll be right back. And I had no idea. And once we went off air, they said, what the hell was that? I said, what the hell was what? And they said, well, we were looking for you to, elaborate a little bit. And I said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Christ almighty, I've been here twice. So that was kind of embarrassing because it never dawned on me that they were expecting much out of me. And when I gave them 2 one-word answers, they laughed in my face.
You guys kind of did the same thing to me. I think it was...
We've thrown a lot of folks into the whole trial by fire type thing. Yeah.
I never expected to even speak on air. I was just going to write you guys the traffic report and do, I don't know, just small little things on the side, get you water. And maybe like 2-3 days in, you guys threw me on the mic. And I remember I didn't think that you could, turn your head away
right.
and clear your throat or cough.
Right.
And so On air, I
Were you
probably
all full of
sounded
phlegm?
like a 60-year-old smoker. Just, hi, my name is Ashley. It's so bad.
Janelle, do you remember your very first live appearance on television?
I do.
Yeah. How did it go?
No, I mean, I wouldn't want to watch it again.
Yeah.
We would, though.
I wish I could find it. It
Yeah,
would
that'd be
really
kinda fun.
funny.
What was the situation? Was this at Channel 11?
Nope. I worked, my first job out of college was in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And I remember it was something about like a food shelf or something like that. I had never been on live television before. Even in college, we didn't do that.
Right.
I really had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, I
And
can relate.
I was not a natural at all. Like, I think some people just dive in and they're really good. That was not me. I needed some practice.
You're right. There's some people that just, from the get-go, they're great.
Yeah.
I wish I would have had the common sense in that moment, my first time on air. I should have had some idea that they wanted me to, establish myself a little bit more, but I was completely clueless. After I understood that, I think I had little trouble with it, but your first day on a new job makes this, is in this conversation about things that feel embarrassing that shouldn't be embarrassing. Having your windshield wipers on high. I remember this before. I remember talking about this, and I did not understand how that could be a nerve-wracking, embarrassing experience. But I think, Josh, you told me something or another. I can't remember. Something about you've experienced windshield wiper anxiety.
Windshield wiper? I don't know if I did.
Maybe it was somebody else.
I have, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
was it you? Someone said if you have yours on high and other people do not, you feel like the wimp of the group or something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Maybe it was Ashley. It wasn't you.
I look at other people's cars and I'm like, what? Why aren't you going as fast as I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine just, I have automatic ones now in my car, so they just do whatever they want.
What?
I'm not going to argue with it.
You don't have to flip a switch on your windshield wipers?
Well, you have the same thing. It's just you put it on and it'll go.
I thought you were saying that when it begins to rain, your windshield wipers just know to begin working.
Correct.
Those are cool.
Really?
Yeah. You've got it on your vehicle.
I do?
Yeah.
My windshield wipers will begin when the rain does?
Yeah.
Without me pushing a button?
You have rain-sensing wipers.
I had no idea.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, we're getting there. We are. Half-Assed Morning Show plus Janel Klein. The anxiety is real around here. Some of you is right here in this radio studio. These are things that feel embarrassing that shouldn't be embarrassing. Go ahead and tell me if you'd have trouble with any of these things. Tell me if you agree. Some of the entries are just so silly because you have no damn choice in the matter. Something that feels embarrassing that shouldn't be embarrassing, taking too long to turn out into traffic even though you can't go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
I get that way. Absolutely.
What are you going to do, launch yourself into oncoming traffic?
Well, I mean, sometimes
Honestly,
people
yeah.
just don't get it. They don't understand,
You feel like the guy behind you is pissed. That's good.
Absolutely.
Walking back from your turn bowling.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I never know where to look or
And
what
I don't
to
know
do with
what
my hands.
I don't know what kind of face to make. Let's say, God just granted me a strike. And what face do I make? I don't want to look like I'm bragging. I don't want to be too excited about it.
Josh, I hate that move where you do get a strike, and for me, it's very rarely. But then you turn around, you're all excited, and everybody's looking at their phones or they're talking to each other, and nobody's even watching. Like, oh, all right, yeah, cool.
Here's another one where you have no choice. So why feel embarrassed or anxious about this? Crossing the street, and there are cars, in the way.
Yeah, I feel like such a nuisance.
Having a hamster if you're over the age of 18 is embarrassing, according to this report. I don't know why that would be.
I don't know a lot of adult hamster owners.
Yeah, I would be a little taken back by that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's a child.
I would assume it's a sex thing at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the most likely demographic for hamsters. I guess I rarely ever see one in someone's home. I would imagine if they own one, they're just keeping it away from me. Jogging to a door makes people anxious.
Yeah.
Taking your garbage can out at the same time as your neighbor.
I don't know.
Then there's the pressure to say hello, I guess.
Yeah, that one wouldn't get me.
I waited until the neighbor was done shoveling his driveway before I went and did mine the other day.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I could understand that, Dana.
Trying to open a public bathroom door when someone is already up in there. Yeah, it's embarrassing. I feel a little bit bad about sorry to bother you because I've been there 7 billion times on the other side of that friggin' door. Making your friends stop when you're on a road trip because you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I hate inconveniencing people like that, too.
You shouldn't feel that way. You see...
But sometimes people are jerks about it.
Oh, dude, trust me, I know. I grew up, my circle of friends will quickly turn a road trip into a guilt trip. I grew up with sleep and bathroom Nazis. And what I mean by that is they make you feel bad if you have to poop or sleep beyond 6 a.m. They're sleep and bathroom Nazis. Paying cash and getting handed change back is embarrassing for some reason?
Oh, yeah, I've had awkward moments with that where they hold their hand out and then you have to grab the change from their hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's I'd rather just pay with my card.
I don't understand. I just don't understand a lot of this. Janelle, you're a confident person. Have any of these so far struck a chord with you? No. Your stomach growling.
I get embarrassed when that happens in here in the mornings when it's very quiet. We're all doing our work, and then my stomach just decides to interrupt.
There's other noises your stomach makes that you should be more embarrassed about.
Whatever.
Telling the waiter they got your order wrong. You'll just eat the wrong meal, won't you, some of you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Every time.
I hate that. Yeah, I hate sending things back or asking.
I'm not that picky. I mean,
Same.
if they get it wrong, maybe it kind of sucks, but I'll eat it.
I will say, though, I never send my food back, but if my fiance's food is wrong, I'll say something. I don't know why. I care more about him
You'll
having
speak
a
up
good
for
meal.
him, but not yourself.
Yeah.
You're a good woman, Ashley.
I wonder if it's, in a way, how you grew up, because what was for supper was for supper. I mean, I couldn't question it at all. If I did, my dad would kick you out of the house. So I wonder if that's part of it, where it's like, they put this in front of me, I guess I'm going to eat it.
The last two here are travel related. Oh, okay. I follow what they mean here. Putting your things in the bins at a concert or an airport before you go through the security gate, with the sensors and whatnot. You got to take your shoes off. You got to take your wallet out. You got to take the keys out, your can of chew, your pack of cigarettes, whatever, your wedding ring. Throwing all that. I suppose that is some of your most personal belongings all on display. I can understand. And then putting your luggage in the overhead compartment is an anxious, embarrassing thing for some people because I suppose they think they're inconvenient. You got to make everyone wait for a second. Sometimes the thing doesn't fit, and you got to start over again.
Yeah, and also, too, on an airplane, if you're sitting window and you got to go to the bathroom, I feel bad making these other people get up.
Oh, going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I like to choose the aisle seat for that reason.
Yeah, me too, man.
Going off to the bathroom. Suppose you can't avoid that, Janelle. You travel all the time. You probably know your way around an airplane bathroom pretty well.
But I will say that is when I wouldn't want to inconvenience someone. Or if they're sleeping, that's always
just crawl right over them.
Yeah. That.
Crawl right over them.
I'd rather pee my pants.
Use their shoulder as leverage, as you're crawling across.
Janelle, I can picture you being that very efficient traveler that can get through security. You have like an entire system and routine just down pat.
Yep, pretty much.
You know exactly what needs to go in the bins. You know all the rules. You don't need to be told what to do.
It's true, Dana.
I'll admit something embarrassing to everybody right here, right now. My wife tracks me.
Yeah.
Does she have a good reason to?
Like on an app, you mean?
Yeah.
I've got that set
I don't
up,
know
too.
I don't know what you call it. She grabbed my phone the other day and pressed some buttons, and now she can tell where I'm at all times.
Yeah. The Find My iPhone app. Or
Yeah, I have 8 people on mine.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, me and my girlfriends, me and my fiance share our location.
Are you and your wife tracked, Josh?
Yeah.
Dana, you and your soon-to-be wife tracked?
No.
No, not tracked.
Not tracked.
Is that because you guys don't have the same kind of phone, though?
Correctamundo.
I don't use it very often other than just to see if she's on her way home or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I use it for, to try to figure out if I should start dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if I have more time to nap.
Yep.
Yeah, she might have reason to suspect me. I mean, she's known me for a long time. She knows that I'm shady. But so she pulls this gimmick, and it's kind of funny because I forget about it, and then she'll call my phone and she'll say, "Oh, you're at 394 in Ridgedale Drive, huh?"
Yeah.
And I'll say, "How the hell do you?" "Oh, that's right. I'm tracked from now. I'm tagged."
That's fun.
I only share mine with my wife, though, nobody else. But I know, like, people Ashley's age, they'll share it with friends. And
She
stuff.
tagged me.
Yeah, it's fun seeing where they are and texting them like, why are you in Wisconsin or like all the way in Green Bay today? What are you doing over there?
But Ashley, have you ever looked at your phone and all
Wait a
8
minute.
people you track are hanging out together without you?
I've never had that happen.
Why would your fiance be in Green Bay?
No, I'm talking about my girlfriends.
Oh, then you know they're on a trip without you. Yeah, like Dana was saying. Yeah, I suppose if I'm ever going to cheat, she's going to know because I'm going to come home with a new phone.
You have a burner.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Well,
That's right. Explain to me the burner phone. You go get a cell phone. How does that work?
Well, then you better not carry your regular one, though, because that's
Okay, right. Get a second phone.
Well,
Yeah,
that she
you can
doesn't
just-
know about.
You can go. Do they still sell them at convenience stores?
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Boom.
Wow, okay.
But with the tracking thing and cheating, a couple months back, we were talking about elaborate ways people went to cheat on their significant others. And one guy, he was being tracked by his wife, so he'd say, "Hey, hon, I'm going golfing with the boys today." He would drive to the golf course, park his car, take his phone out and hide it under a tree.
Right.
Go bang his mistress, and then a couple hours later, go and pick up the phone.
See, that would never work on me because one of my favorite pastimes is when my boyfriend's golfing or fiance's golfing. I like to look at his location and see if he's in like a dirt trap or a sand trap.
It's that specific?
So that I can make fun of him.
Specific, Ashley.
I didn't know.
Sometimes it can be. Sometimes it's a little iffy. But yeah, I love giving him crap. Like, wow, that was a terrible drive.
I've been tagged, Cubby.
I'm surprised you allowed that to happen.
I didn't allow that to happen. Like I said, she said, "Let me see your phone real quick." Beep, 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 beep. And then said, "Now I know where you're at all times."
Did she put hers on your phone then?
I don't know.
Oh. You can turn it off if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I can show you how to
I
do
can
it.
turn it off so she can't track me?
Correct.
Oh.
You
all
can
right.
turn
You
it
have
off
control.
without even notifying her too.
Well, of course I wouldn't notify her.
Well, because if you do it a certain way, it'll tell them that you stopped sharing the location.
Oh, God, I need to take a class. Janelle, are you currently tracking anyone or are you being tracked?
No, but I do have a burner phone, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
One for work and one
Yeah.
for your personal stuff.
Right.
So your burner phone is like this mysterious, nobody knows where the messages are coming from.
Right.
That's cool.
I can hook you up.
You got a guy?
You are my hookup. Before we go real quick, we were talking about spring break. It's time for spring break now. Janelle, when you went on spring break, did you ever go to a place called Panama City?
I never did.
Is that
I've
Florida?
never been. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I thought that was maybe in Panama. I went to Panama City, says a listener. There were drunk, naked dudes directing traffic.
That's who you want out there.
That's Farmington Dad Jesus.
That's pretty funny.
Drunk, naked college kids directing traffic. We got to go. Thank you, Janelle, for
Thanks,
everything.
you guys.
Thank you for coming by, and we will see you as soon. Anytime you want to stop by, you know you're welcome.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.